Tonight on the Black Channel, there comes a moment there when you have one of these times that everything comes together and you realize that things have changed. Have one of those quintessential moments that shows you, and there are too many people saying too many very arcane, specific things. And tonight's program is going to really catch you all up on that. So let me go ahead and start with number one here, a little bit of housekeeping. Here. Tonight's program is going to be about language you've heard and things you've heard us say, and we're going to be catching you all up on it. To remind you once again, it matters where you get your news and insight analysis. Now, I was doing my coon roundup, and one of the channels that came across there was Devory Dawkins. He's one of these folk here, you want to be black, white conservatives, and other foolishness. I thought he was going to be a part of something I was doing here, but he was showing Trump showing up in D.C., and he's brought the Fed's National Guard to D.C. to basically check driver's licenses. What? And do nothing else. But anyway, there was something that Trump said, and before I get started tonight, I want to go ahead and review this right quick, in keeping with our review of things that have been stated here in the past before, just to catch you up on it.
Redo a lot of the pavement, a lot of the medians, a lot of the graffiti's all coming off real fast. It's going to come down real fast. We're working with Clark Construction. They're one of the big ones. They're the biggest here by far, actually. And we're going to be not so much building, it's cleaning and fixing and redoing.
Let me replay that one more time.
City, it's the capital. It's going to be the best in the world. We're going to do what you're doing with law enforcement. And very importantly, also, we're going to physically do it. We're going back to Congress for some money, and we're going to redo a lot of the pavement, a lot of the medians, a lot of the graffiti's all coming off real fast. It's going to come down real fast. We're working with Clark Construction. They're one of the big ones. They're the biggest here by far, actually.
Now, as you all know, whether you live in D.C. or not, you know that I've been talking about Clark Construction now for a decade. You don't hear about it very much. You certainly don't hear about it on the news. If you don't live in D.C., you don't know. But in my documentary film, Gentrified, I drove around D.C. and I showed you over and over again Clark Construction, that blue banner with the white letters, I think in Times New Roman script, all over the place in D.C. Except recently, you do not see as many Clark Construction banners today as I saw a decade ago. You don't see them. And the reason is because Clark is almost done with their work. Their job was to come in, gentrify, build. That was their job. And the job is almost done. So that's the reason that you don't see so many Clark Construction banners in D.C. anymore, because they're almost finished with what they came to do. That does not mean that Clark is going to go out of business. That does not mean they're not going to have a bunch of things to do still. Obviously, Donald Trump wants to steer more money their way, pretty much probably rewarding them for campaign contributions. But in any case, in D.C., I've been talking about Clark Construction for a decade, and just to remind you, if you've been listening to me for the last 10 years, whether you lived in D.C. or not, you were already aware of it. So if you heard Trump when he was addressing all these people there, when you heard him talk about Clark, you already were on the game. You already knew who they were, and you already knew what they do. So I wanted to go ahead and let you know that the reason that we are the black media is because we can do callbacks like this, and you can have solid, reliable information that even years or decades later you can call back to and say, yeah, there they are. Doesn't matter who the president is, who the administration is, there they are. Although Trump was in office when I did Gentrified, I believe. So, yeah, there's that. So, something you've heard us talk about here before, some of the language and topics that we used before, there it is, but from no less than the President of the United States. No less than the President of the United States, but he's not the only one. Folks, Ann Poltergeist Coulter. What? Oh, Ann Poltergeist. Why, was on trigonometry recently. And she was talking to them about a number of things. She was talking to them about a number of things, but boy, she went off in one direction there. She went off in one direction, as she is wont to do. She went off in one direction, and when she did, she said something. I want to remind you all, when people know exactly what they're going to say or whatever, they just go in one direction with it. But she did something a little bit different. I want to play this for you. Fair use, trigonometry. Fair use, by the way. I'm going to play this, and you can all just listen for yourselves. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to play it, and you listen for yourselves. When you hear it, you'll catch it.
I wrote Adios America in 2015 about immigration, not just illegal immigration, all immigration. Since 1970, we have been hauling in the third world hand over fist. I mean, 90% of our legal immigrants are from the third world. Yeah, try to immigrate from Western Europe. It was a specific design by the Democrats to change the country more in their favor, and happened to wreck the country at the same time. We're down to, I mean, this is something else that we can look up and get the actual number on. We're down to, from like 1620 up until 1970, the country was 80 to 90% white, 10 to 20% black. Those are foundational Americans, and the 1970 population overwhelmingly traced.
One more again?
Those are foundational Americans, and the 1970 population overwhelmingly traced its.
Folks, this is not something that was brought to me. I tried to survey as many things as I can. This is why you all are just hearing this for the first time here. Yeah, I heard this earlier this week. I try to monitor as many broadcasts as I can. I try to check in on as much as I can. So when I hear these things, I go ahead and log it so that I can come back during the program and we can put these all in a nice, concise package that you all will have the luxury of being able to come back and reference later. So, couldn't help but notice that. And yeah, many of you probably caught that. She said, when she started talking about black folks, she said foundational, but then she says foundational Americans. Foundational Americans. To anybody who thought that the word foundational would be safe, just understand the rest of these folks are already making their moves. So just be aware. Though that was not accidental, because I know that Ann Coulter has referenced this on Twitter before. I know that she's made a reference about that before, about acknowledging us, because she saw, rightfully so, that the 14th Amendment, you can cut off the illegals using that if you back the right horse. So she chose to back us, and okay, that cuts off the illegals from being able to claim the 14th Amendment. Got it. Well, yeah, but now you see what direction she's like, you know what? I see how I can use this a little bit different. So I'm going to play it for you one more time.
Something else that we can look up and get the actual number on. We're down to, from like 1620 up until 1970, the country was 80 to 90% white, 10 to 20% black. Those are foundational Americans, and the 1970 population overwhelmingly traced its ancestry back to colonial times. We're now down to, it's about 13% black, so that hasn't changed that much. We're now down to, I think, around 57% white Americans.
So for those of you who may not understand why she's saying it like that, I think that one of the things that she might be making the calculus of is maybe if you lump us all together with the Europeans who came over, you can probably see about trying to neutralize or limit that reparations claim. I mean, if we're all foundational Americans, well, it's kind of hard to, if we're just another part of the foundation of America, kind of hard to enforce that reparations thing. You see what I mean? Kind of hard to enforce that, because then you would be making the claim that we were a part of it, which of course we weren't. But by the way, I see how phrasing it that way, she did not make a mistake by not saying black. To anyone who didn't catch that, she didn't make a mistake. She didn't almost say foundational black. She didn't almost. She said what she meant to say. She meant to say foundational Americans, omitting the black. She's like, you know what? I can see how this foundational thing can work. And by lumping us in together, you would be saying that we all are part of the same establishment. Therefore, we are complicit in it. By saying that we are complicit in it, well, then how can we be owed if we are also complicit in it? You're foundational. We're foundational. We are the foundational Americans. So mark my words, she did not make a mistake. That was not a mistake at all. In case you can tell, she didn't misspeak. She didn't leave out black by accident. She did that on purpose. So she's using the language. Now, of course, there's only one place that she got it from. And here she is on trigonometry, and they've had a new word introduced to their lexicons. But I just wanted to point out to you all, and by the way, it has escaped containment. It has escaped confinement. When you had no less than Bob Steyer running for president, and he said, cut the check, just understand we had already escaped imprisonment. The free radicals were already traveling around the society at the very highest levels. So it's already escaped, people. It's already escaped and running wild. And now you see other folks incorporating it into the language. And it's not just them incorporating it into the language. It is about them recognizing that this is a part of an overall change in mindset. You are no longer talking to or dealing with the civil rights generation. The terminology and vocabulary and lexicon that either they created or resonated with them, we are completely divorced from it. So you don't gain anything politically or socially by invoking these obsolete terms and these obsolete, extinct vocabulary. You'll gain nothing from it. We've already left it behind. So they're showing you that they are migrating along with it. The issue, of course, they're going to find is that they will find it far more difficult to hijack or co-opt language today than they did then. We're not nearly as desirous as the old folks were to get their acceptance on their terms. We'll take acceptance on our terms, but not on theirs. So they will find this to be a far more difficult hill to climb than they told themselves it would be. However, that's not enough. I'm just getting y'all started, by the way, and we're only 13 minutes in, but that's not enough. No, it goes a little bit further here, folks, because believe it or not, of all the things y'all have heard, I don't know. If tonight's not the most shocking, it'll be the second most. Just this year here, he's going through it. He is going through it. If you thought he had just stopped at the Democrats, if you thought he had just stopped there, man, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Roland was talking about Jillian Michaels. And it's one of those things here, and it's Jillian Michaels, for those of you who don't know, the fitness chick from Biggest Loser. No, that wasn't an autobiography. What? Jillian Michaels from Biggest Loser. She was on CNN. This is what happens when you get to a certain age. And, the white supremacist males are now acknowledging it, that we covered this last week and the week before. When they get to a certain age, they can't really make it, on looks alone anymore. They can't really make it on that. And Jillian Michaels is 51. Damn! For those of you who did not know, Jillian Michaels is 51 years old now. So she is old enough to be the mother of the chicks that the fellows are really talking about now. So if you want to know whether or not she aged out the game, she's all the way out the game. So maybe the Botox people or the fellows who stretch your face out there in Miami, maybe they got to work on her and whatnot. And between that and the Sephora people smoothing things out, don't believe it. But in any case, these cameras soften the stuff for the females. So it's just all right. However, yeah, Jillian Michaels is a lesbian. Jillian Michaels is another one of these folk from Hollywood with sexual proclivities. And Jillian Michaels, as we know, she don't really back men. But once again, this is another one of these white lesbian couples. And it's this really, really sick thing, and I'm calling it for what it is. There's this sick fascination of white lesbian couples who go around and they go off and they want to adopt black children. The Charlize Therons and all these degenerates, the Madonnas, these white women who dig women, and they want to go have children, and they make it a point to go and adopt black children. She's 51 years old. She doesn't want a man, but she wants a black girl in her home. And then when you talk to them, here she is trying to minimize slavery. It ain't that big of an issue. And I want to play this part here. I want to play it so you all can hear it, because this is a woman who's adopted a black child now. She's adopted a black child. She was on the CNN panel, and this is what she was saying.
Yeah, slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about. Okay. Like, he forgave me
He's
for
not
saying
whitewashing slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No.
Okay.
He's not.
She's talking about Donald Trump is not whitewashing slavery by telling the Smithsonian, including the so-called African American History Museum, that they need to stop talking about slavery so much. I posted this on Twitter for you all, but that's what Jillian Michaels said. That's what Trump said. They need to stop talking about slavery so much at the Smithsonian. Everything, they keep trying to tie slavery into everything. They're not trying to tie slavery into everything. When you go back in American history, you can't talk about any part of it without discussing slavery. So what they want for us to do is whitewash and erase slavery from the history, specifically because it gets in the way of the white worship. They want white people to be idolized, lionized, pedestalized, and slavery simply prevents that from occurring. You see, the so-called immigrants they bring over here love to idolize them, but you're not able to get that to kick off with us because there's a little thing called slavery and literally everything else that came after that. So now they want you to erase slavery so that you'll find yourself, when the media is sitting up here pedestalizing them and you have all this white imagery, now you don't have slavery in the middle anymore. Now we can get back to white worship. You can get back to wanting your hair to be like white people's and your skin to be like white people's. So that they openly want to cultivate a culture of white worship. And what they're saying is slavery is in the way. It's getting in the way of you all of acknowledging and worshiping whiteness. It's in the way. So we'll see if we can just keep all of our historical figures and we'll just erase the slavery part and do what they do in white homes. We won't mention it except to remind folks why we're better than these Negroes. So that's what they're talking about there.
Yeah, slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like, he forgave me
He's
for
not
saying
whitewashing slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No.
Okay.
He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does.
The Smithsonian, first of all, the only people who could enslave anybody in America were white people. So nobody on the panel stopped her to say that. The only people who could own slaves, the only people who could enslave other people were white folk, and don't say they were black folk because you could not go enslave a white person.
And deal with it.
You could not enslave a white person. So yes, it is contained to one race. But this is your history. How are you going to get mad at us because we're simply saying we're going to recite the history? Didn't they say that knocking down statues and trying to erase figures from history was woke? Now Trump says, okay, I'm going to go woke. I'm going to go de-woke the hell out the Smithsonian by woking the hell out of it. But if you can't enslave white people, then yes, if white people have the privilege of enslaving but not being enslaved, if white people are the only people who cannot be enslaved, that's privilege. And we need to point out the folks who started this, yeah, they had privilege. And she's not saying that it's not correct. She's saying, well, you can't limit it there. Yes, you can, because only one group did that. If you don't put it in that context, it gets lost, and nobody on the panel really did that.
Yeah, slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like, he forgives
He's
me for
not
saying
whitewashing
that.
slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No.
Okay.
He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
can't tie slavery.
let's talk about the fact.
Slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery?
Only 2% of white people own slaves. That has nothing to do with the portion of the population that supported the institution. They were willing to go to war for it. So clearly, much more than 2% of the population endorsed and approved and was willing to die for slavery. So very clearly, it benefited them because they were willing to go to war for it and die for it. That's all you all have to say, people. That's it. You've debunked the argument right there. It doesn't matter whether they owned them or not. They were willing to go to war and die for them. So clearly, they were participants in the system of slavery, as evidenced by the fact they were willing to go to war and die for it. Down here in Louisiana, for example, in the South, they try to whitewash the history by saying it was rich man's war, poor man's fight. You hear a lot of folks with their Confederate flags try to dismiss it like that, to say, well, that wasn't really for the poor folks. It was a rich man's war, poor man's fight. Okay, but the poor men were fighting for slavery, and they knew what they were fighting for. Also, they were beneficiaries of their white privilege. These guys were not fighting to free anybody, nor did any of them object to it. They all endorsed it, to the final extent that they were willing to go to war for it and split the country to maintain it. So the 2% who owned the slaves are irrelevant. Everyone was endorsing and fighting for the slavery economy, but not just the economy, the social caste system of slavery, much more than 2% of the population. So when somebody sits up here and says a lie like that, just understand, I want you all to know you don't even have to make up something new. All you have to do is just repeat what I just said. That's it. It was far more than 2% of the population that went to war for it. And they knew what they were going to war for. Hell, the Fugitive Slave Act and everything else made that clear to you. They knew what it was for.
Is thousands of years old.
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to
I didn't
try
realize
to
this was
end
controversial.
slavery?
Wait a second.
Okay.
Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised
This is
that
an
you're trying to
extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really
Historical
surprised.
revisionism. Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and
I'm
who
not.
was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is
in
that
the context of American history.
Okay.
In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there. Do you know that when you walk in the front door,
what exactly?
There's nothing in there that says white people bad. There's nothing in there that says white people bad. What she's saying is that the exhibits are not flattering. And because there was what you all fought for, white supremacy and white dominance, yeah, there was nobody else carrying out this barbarism. And what she's saying is we want to talk about our history so long as we sanitize it. Nobody said white people bad. They're just citing the history. And she's explaining to you what she doesn't like about the history. Hey, this isn't flattering to white people's behavior. There was nothing that says white people bad. She's just saying, stop talking about this history. It's not flattering. So she only wants us to talk about white people as long as it's flattering, even if we have to lie. This is how low they've sunk. Yeah, we'll talk about white people, but even if you have to lie about it, you need to tell everybody how great whiteness is. And please be sure here, she doesn't want you to remove some of the things. She wants you to remove every single thing in there that does not reflect on white people positively, because she wants you to come away with the impression that all things white are good, so that you too will bow down. No shackles on your ankles required. You'll just bow. And she knows what she's doing, as evidenced by how she adopted this child.
Thing you see is the gay
One, she's a clown and an idiot. So then when she decided to speak somewhere else a few days later, she tried to further explain her nonsense.
Folks, all I can say is when you let white supremacists and suspected white supremacists talk enough, they let you know exactly what they're thinking. And whoever thought Jillian Michaels with her puffed up lips attempting to look like, no wonder she adopted a black girl, because since the day we all saw her, it's like, yeah, it's very clear what she wishes she could be. Very, very clear what she wishes she could be. Well, beneath that veneer of supposed imitation and adoration, there's a seething, boiling hostility. And here she finally let it come to the surface.
On CNN, and I get the topics ahead of time. So one of them is that Trump is trying to revise history by asking the Smithsonian to revisit some of their installations.
What does that mean, like art pieces?
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So I asked the same question. So I reached out to the comms team at the White House. I said, listen, this is going to come up. Can I ask you, what installations is the administration taking umbrage with? Can you send it to me? So they send me a document, and it's about 50 pages.
Oh, my word.
Not one thing in the document, not one installation actually is about slavery. Not one.
Have you ever spoken about any of this type of subject?
I didn't even know about it.
First of all, we only have her word for it, whatever Trump's people supposedly sent to her, but also very interesting, she's got a beeline to the White House. Hey, the rest of us could use that too, by the way, talk about white privilege. So even if you accept what she says, we have no proof that that's true. However, we do know what Trump said right after this, so he just made an ass out of her. But we'll go ahead and let her keep going.
I literally didn't know about it until I was asked to kind of weigh in on it on CNN. This one woman on the other side immediately goes to Trump is whitewashing slavery. So with unbelievable confidence, knowing what was in there, I'm like, no, he's not. And then when I said, no, he's not, then Abby Phillips and Richie Torres essentially, I guess, made some sort of assumption that I was trying to defend slavery.
Richie Torres, who got a long way to go before he can speak for us. Richie Torres got a long way to go. Hey, dude, you got a lot of street work you got to do to shore back up your credentials, dude. By the way, Abby Phillips and Richie Torres. So yeah, we don't have folk from the soil up in there. Abby Phillips went to go grab a fellow immigrant, but yeah, we don't have folk from the soil to shut that down. Just thought I'd point that out. So anyway, yeah, Richie Torres, who even this year, by the way, Robert Brooks, who is that? All right.
Confidence, knowing what was in there, I'm like, no, he's not. And then when I said, no, he's not, then Abby Phillips and Richie Torres essentially, I guess, made some sort of assumption that I was trying to defend slavery. I'm not quite sure where they got that impression.
From what you were saying. Everybody listening to you got that impression from what you were saying. When you start trying to minimize slavery, it was only 2%. Only.
Oh, please.
Yet when you're minimizing slavery, that's defending it. What type of civilized person would attempt to minimize it by any stretch of the imagination? So yeah, you were defending it by attempting to minimize it.
Then Abby Phillips and Richie Torres essentially, I guess, made some sort of assumption that I was trying to defend slavery. I'm not quite sure where they got that impression. We constantly talk about white supremacy, but we look the other way with black degeneracy. It begets white hostility that then validates and begets white degeneracy. And it's this impossible cycle. So I turn around to Richie Torres.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Oh, please.
Yeah, y'all heard that correctly. Oh, she didn't stop. She just kept rolling. Why, it's our fault. Don't you understand? In the sick, twisted white supremacist psyche. Why, it's your fault. White supremacy is your fault. As a matter of fact, you're the cause of, quote, white degeneracy. Let me go ahead and back that up one more again.
I got that impression. We constantly talk about white supremacy, but we look the other way with black degeneracy. It begets white hostility that then validates and begets white degeneracy. And it's this impossible cycle.
Didn't she just claim that she was not defending slavery? And then she tells us it's our behavior that makes white people barbarous and racist. Also, notice she said, you keep talking about white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. Shout out to our immortal ancestor, Brother Neely Fuller. May he rest in power. The man primarily responsible for getting us to change our vocabulary, to get us to stop labeling it racism and label it what it is, white supremacy. And he ignited it in a bunch of young people who took to the internet, who took to the media, who took everywhere, and we kept hammering it home. He was a soft-spoken man who would not give out interviews like that, but he gave it to those of us who would, and we picked up the torch and ran with it around the world. And now everywhere you go, the screaming that you hear from them is because it's hit home. We are no longer discussing if it is in the lexicon. It is now firmly part of the lexicon. It is no longer referred to as racism. It is referred to as white supremacy. And they are not able to argue their way out of it, rephrase it, reframe it, change it, spin it, calling it precisely what it is. And now they're saying, well, damn it, just erase the history. Since we can't change the vernacular, we can't change the phraseology, then just erase the history altogether. Since the term white supremacy has taken off, it's been used from the hood to the White House. Joe Biden called it white supremacy. Folks, our vocabulary, our vernacular, our lexicon has fully taken over. From Ann Coulter, one white supremacist female, to Jillian Michaels, another. And by us simply standing firm, you're not talking about the civil rights phrases anymore. They are now having to deal with our vocabulary, and they're letting you know it's hell to deal with. Oh, this thing is a beast to have to wrangle with. You're hopping in the damn bullpen with a bull. He's throwing you around. Ain't nothing you can do. So now they're just saying, man, screw it. We can't win the argument. Just erase the history. Just get rid of it. Because they can't play with the language the way that they used to. They are conceding defeat. Oh, they are conceding defeat. Well, folks, after this, and by the way, what Jillian Michaels just talking about there, what was the black degeneracy that led to the white transatlantic slave trade in the first place? What was the black degeneracy that caused that? By the way, what type of unscrupulous degenerate bastard sits up here and blames other people for their, quote, degeneracy? if these other people, well, we wouldn't, you're the cause of our degeneracy. You want to talk about claiming to be a victim? This is Jeffrey Epstein blaming them girls. Well, I wouldn't have had to rape you if you hadn't, you done things a little bit different. I wouldn't have to do that. Of course, Roland Martin, he had a lot to say after that. And I'm not going to get into all of it. Could have done a whole lot better here. But in the course of those events, Roland gets to talking about what these folk are wrong about. I know Roland is hating this like, damn, Jason, why in the world are you on point about this? Why do you got to be on point about it? Can't you let us breathe? No, I did not choose this frame. Y'all you can click on one of his videos at any random point and you're going to see a frame that looks like this. You can click on one of his programs that basically is any folks. Jason, what about your thumbnail images? Dude, you can click on his videos at almost any point in time. If it's his face on it, you'll get something like this. So I'm not giving him hell. I'm just telling the truth, and it feels like hell. But this is what Roland had to say. And folks, all I can say is he's the gift that keeps on giving. Wait till you hear this.
Believe that or not, that's not my problem, but facts are facts. And when you get these white folks like Jillian Michaels, and then when you get these immigrants like Patrick Bet-David, who aligns with whiteness, when you get these people and they go, you guys are just making these things up, then when you get these ignorant Negroes, including some people black immigrants, debating Amanda Seals on Jubilee, and when these people go, oh, you guys, you're embracing victim. No, we're actually just speaking facts.
Nigga, what? Damn! What? Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Nigga, please. Nigga, what?
Yeah, folks, y'all heard that with your own ears. Shall I kick it and rewind and let you hear again? Yeah, you heard that with your own ears.
Facts are facts. And when you get these white folks like Jillian Michaels, and then when you get these immigrants like Patrick Bet-David, who aligns with whiteness, when you get these people and they go, you guys are just making these things up, then when you get these ignorant Negroes, including some people black immigrants, debating Amanda Seals on Jubilee, and when these people go, oh, you guys, you're embracing victim. No, we're actually just speaking facts.
I agree, Roland. I absolutely agree. We are speaking facts. We been speaking facts, not you. The people whose vernacular and vocabulary you're trying to steal and hijack right now. Oh, we've been saying this now going on 2 decades. Absolutely, we have. Who in the world are you? Because this is new language for you. We know who hasn't been saying this all this time, but who's the we that you're referring to? Who's the we? Because wasn't this the same Roland Martin that was warning us, telling us we need to stop talking about the immigrants? What? Folks, wasn't this the same Roland Martin that told all of us that we need to stop talking about the immigrants? We need to stop that. Isn't he the one who hasn't he been the loudest voice telling us to stop doing that? Now he jumps up on a random week and all of a sudden he's sounding the alarm about the immigrants? Of course, Roland will only acknowledge it back in the family tree, but now Roland is trying to, brothers and sisters, Roland Martin is trying to delineate. Brothers and sisters from around the world, do my Humpty ears deceive me? Yes, indeed. Roland Martin is trying to delineate, y'all. Oh, you heard it with your own ears. You seen it with your own eyes. He's trying to delineate. Oh, this is going to be awkward. This is going to be awkward, y'all. Oh, no, you heard it with your own ears. You know that. This is Roland's trying to delineate. He wants to let y'all know they not like us. Roland wants to let y'all know he sees the winning team. Roland sees the winning team. Oh, and it's rough on him. He sees the winning team and he wants to get a ticket to ride. So at the last minute now, because y'all for the last, 8 years, we've been hearing him give us problems. For the last 5 years specifically, he's been telling, after Kamala Harris lost, he was letting us know it was immigrant fiesta. And now what we said is accurate? Well, if it's accurate now, it was accurate then. If it's accurate now, it was accurate then. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get into some more video here next, but before I do, there are some folks in the chat room who have left some comments. I'm so glad that you did, because now it is your opportunity to go ahead and give us a call up. I will not have to debunk you. You're probably going to end up debunking yourself. It's about time. We're going to go ahead and have you have an opportunity here to speak to us live. So let me go ahead and throw the link up in the chat room here. There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm pinning the link to the top of the chat room here. So to the folks in the chat who've been told to give a call up, you need to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get that link up here. You've had a lot to say, and we are going to make sure that you have the opportunity to say it. Live and direct. You can go ahead and speak directly to the host. So let's go ahead and get them up front. They have 2 minutes to be on the line. And I mean all of them, not just one or two of them. We're going to make sure we got all of them up on here. We're going to get all of them up on here. So make sure we get all of them up in here. Go ahead and do that. And by the way, if you all are liking tonight's program, give me the thumbs up emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's almost 5,000 people in here live tonight. And only 1,800 likes here. I must have a bunch of rolling lovers. Must have a bunch of rolling lovers here. So that'll be kind of important. We'll go ahead and get them on up here. Now, this is only for the folks who said we're in the chat room now. Y'all got to understand here that one of my mods here, B1 Speech, has a Dunkin' Donut in their mouth right now. So, cookie! I need you to put down the donut, dear. It's you can't do that. It's hard to type on the keyboard when your fingers are sticky with, Krispy Kreme glaze. It's not working for you. She's got a donut in one hand and some chitlins in the other. So it's that we need one of our Erykah Badu sisters to come through here and clean up that diet. Yeah, we're going to need some of my Erykah Badu sisters to come through here and clean up my mods' diets. Because it slows them down. They start getting lethargic. They're pork and pastries. It starts slowing them down. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. If you were not instructed by my mods to call in, it ain't time for you to be on Zoom here. So unless you were instructed to call in, it's not really your minute. It's really not time just yet. So if you're not there, that's not going to work for you. Okay, on Zoom here, I'm not really sure who Clyde is. Have a light on for me here, or I'll give you 5 seconds or permanent vacation. So anybody who wants to be on Zoom, don't worry, the internet's not going to see you, but just to make sure we don't have any trolling issues, I need to make sure I can see you, so just so we don't have any trolling issues. All right there, Clyde, and what's on your mind, Clyde?
No, brother. Okay,
brother, your connection here. You are calling us from East Pookiestan. What? Okay, y'all, he's got Pookie broadband. This is what happens when you try to use that 2G service on that Obama phone. I know your baby mama's got some of y'all tied up in knots. She got your money messed up, and I get it. I understand. It's just times is rough. He's got the Obama flip phone. It's the 2G service. He got something he want to get off his mind. But she got him tied up, y'all. She got him tied up. Oh, man. So he had something to say he couldn't get through. I'm going to give him a little bit of time to see if he can get his life right for him. But making clear about this here, folks, it's real easy to start parroting us when it's easy. But even the folks who don't like us historically, now here they come into the last minute saying what we were saying. Why the hell was it controversial? Why in the world was it controversial? Why is it you're gonna say it now? So you just chase behind the winners? This is what we doing? We just chase behind the winners? They go ahead and take a look at who they think is prevailing, and let me go ahead and jump on that. We're going to go ahead and jump on that now. Let me see who looks like they're going to win. And if it looks like they're going to win, then all of a sudden we'll stop attacking them. As a matter of fact, we'll hijack and co-opt their language, especially when they get themselves in a bind. Well, I could leave it there, but I won't, because Roland brings up a point here. He brings up a point, and that's important here, because he talked about Amanda Seales. He talked about Amanda Seales. And one of the problems we have with the tether class is the backstabbing culture. They throw folk under the bus. They're black when convenient, and that leads to a problem. Because otherwise you wind up having to clean things up. I want to go, and folks have been talking about this. It's got millions of views, so you're feeding into Amanda's ego. And do we really need more of that? Amanda, they called it on Jubilee. This is a YouTube channel where they get folk in a circle and debate. And they titled this one, One Black Radical versus 20 Black Conservatives, featuring Amanda Seales. Of all the folk they could have chosen, they chose Amanda, but okay. But I want to go ahead and play this one. She's talking to this chick right here, and I'm just like, man, look here. Man, they must be installing these damn crazy weaves over there in Nigeria with a broom. What? Who in the world is doing these wigs on their heads over there, y'all? Who is doing this? She would have been 5 times off better with her own natural hair. And instead, she throws on, damn me, Christy Brinkley, one of Christy Brinkley's wigs she threw out in the garbage 30 years ago. And all right, but in any case, this is how this exchange went.
Are inherently racist because I've seen too many Black people overcome. And I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability. Conservatives may try to act like, oh, there's no racism in America. I absolutely believe there is racism in America. I believe racist people exist. I just don't think that the systems as they stand today are inherently racist because I've seen too many Black people overcome. And I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability and like self-will. We talked about how we were 3/5 of a person, but now we are 100%, I guess, according to the law or whatever, a person. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you wanted to walk out here right now and decide, you know what, I want to change my career, I want to do that, you can. And that's why so many people, and Nigerians come here, and Indians come here, and so many people who are not white, who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white, they come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why? Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I'm part Nigerian. I have to go honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting
They are literally twerking and shaking booty in
the
Nigeria.
Nigerians I know ain't doing it. If they are
we
twerking and shaking, but
literally
they
learned
doctors
it from Africa.
They're doctors twerking and shaking booty.
Okay, first of all, baby, stop. Just quit. They get over here and they start lying as if everybody doesn't have the internet, as if Nollywood with butt naked Nigerian women. What? As if Nollywood ain't a thing with butt booty naked Nigerian women. This isn't Hollywood. This is, quote, Nollywood, and there's plenty of butt booty. I'm not talking about wearing G-strings, folks. I'm talking about full 100% naked, ain't wearing a stitch of nothing. Porn and every damn thing else in Nigeria. I'm not going to talk about the bastard baby rate, the abortion rate, the AIDS rate. I'm not even going to get into that, y'all. We're not even going to get into that. I'm not going to get into the grimy on the ground. I'm just talking about as far as media images. Take a look at her head. You want to talk about whitewashed? Take a look at your damn head. It'd be different if she had, like, you know, the rapper Eve thing where you got your hair and you just kind of colored it blonde. This is not her hair at all. And she wants to talk about some damn twerking? Baby, you done twerked your afro off your head. Your afro has done booty meat shook straight off your head. And she's want to talk about not knowing the Nigerians I know. And she can't name a single damn one. They're doctors and lawyers. Okay, everybody got doctors and lawyers. What the hell's your point? Y'all got doctors and lawyers and AIDS and booty shaking and pornography. You got all of that. And I'm talking about in Nigeria. Forget being over here. In Nigeria. She talking about she don't know none of it. This heifer must walk around Lagos with a damn blindfold on. That's the only way you could miss it. And she's over here saying this lie. There's the other thing. She lying her ass off, but she's over here saying this lie. You know what she's not? She's not in Nigeria proving it's true. She's over here telling this lie. So that's the first thing.
Point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I'm part Nigerian. I have to go honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting
They are literally twerking and shaking booty in Nigeria.
The Nigerians I know ain't doing it. If they are
we
twerking and shaking, but they
learned
doctors
it from Africa.
They're doctors twerking and shaking booty. So maybe they can shake because they got the money to back it up. But do you see what you're saying? But do you see what I'm saying though? We have to be honest, Amanda. When Indians come here,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people.
All right, I just wanted to get that in there. Thank you, Amanda, for copping to your lineage. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. So in case anybody had any questions, comments, concerns, doubts, whatever the case may be, I'm so glad that Amanda has found common ground with one of her fellow immigrants in that regard. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Running what show? What the hell are they running? What the hell are they running? The whites and the Asians and the Russians and the Europeans run Africa. What the hell? They all keep trying to make up this lie as if they come from places where everything was together and they came to America to make our lives better. This is the immigrant lie that they tell from those places. They talk like they came to America to make our lives better. They had things great where they were, and they're just missionaries who came to America. Well, you all really needed our help. So we got on this inner tube that washed up on the beach and we fought the sharks and the dolphins to get all the way over here because you really needed our help. This is what they tell themselves.
Taking a booty in
the
Nigeria.
Nigerians I know ain't doing it. If they are
we
Turkish,
literally
but they
learned
doctors
it from Africa.
They're doctors turking and shaking booty, so maybe they can shake because they got the money to back it up. But do you see what you're saying? But do you see what I'm saying though? We have to be honest, Amanda. When Indians come here,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show, than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been here.
But your mama came here and she wasn't the majority, so how did she succeed?
She succeeded because she came here with the fortitude of coming from a place.
Her resilience, right?
No, but
and she had her village.
Let me say what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll let you unpack.
If we don't acknowledge divide and conquer in the United States, we are having a pointless conversation.
I agree.
Okay, Amanda, for the rest of y'all here, y'all need to stop the damn cap. If your mama was on point where she from, she would have made it pop over there. So they start telling these lies about how great they were doing. If it was on point, she would have got it popping where she was standing. The issue is they couldn't get it popping where we're standing. They need to get with some folks who knew how to get something popping and get unified in a real way to get real things done. And then they've been leeching off of us ever since. So let's just stop that lie in its tracks. We need to quit that immigrant myth. That immigrant myth that you were so great and so wonderful and on point that you were here to come you immigrated over here to make our lives better because you were so on point. Y'all need to stop that damn Santa Claus stuff.
And was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference.
That's the contribution, ma'am? Oh no, I got to step on that.
Amanda,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work.
As the fellow daughter of an immigrant, then why are you speaking on reparations on Jubilee, ma'am? Because it's not about being black. She was on Jubilee. They had her on there speaking about reparations. So this is why we have to be very careful and guarded about who speaks about this. These white media outlets will sit up here and go grab any old damn body. Okay, if she identifies as the daughter of an immigrant, then what the hell are you speaking on our reparations for? And by the way, Roland, while you were talking about immigrants, you didn't include Amanda in that. But if she's the daughter of immigrants, why the hell is she speaking on our reparations? Shouldn't she be sitting back at our feet and learning from the foundation? Instead, they got her with the damn microphone sitting up here trying to cut a freestyle. So I find that offensive.
Work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom.
She was able to work and get green cards for folk. Is that what we fought and bled and died for with Edmund Pettus Bridge? So that's her contribution, is helping her folk back in the village. Not a word about what got done here.
Amanda,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority.
I play that over and over again because I want y'all to hear she's literally saying that that's her mama's contribution.
Amanda,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom.
My mama came here and got a job so she could get the rest of us some green cards.
Nigga, please.
My mama got on the inner tube from the Caribbean to come over here and see what she could get. She got a job. Stop trying to inflate it beyond the value of what it is. She came over here, got a job, and then said, let me help folk get green cards. What the hell kind of contribution is that? How do you hang your hat on that, people? How do you hang your hat on that? We're not talking about her father. She just sat right there and identified herself as the daughter of an immigrant. That's the point. If you were talking to biracials, when they give you that I'm black and Hispanic, I'm black and German, I'm black and Irish. So she's the one who just freely, without any provocation or goading, identified herself as the daughter of an immigrant. She didn't say the daughter of an immigrant and a foundational. She said daughter of an immigrant. Now you just heard that. So I know it's breaking your soul. You're breaking your soul, and them ribs felt that body shot. But what about her daddy? What about her daddy? She's not claiming his lineage. She just had every opportunity to claim his lineage. She didn't say nothing about it. So, case closed, partner.
There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been here.
But your mama came.
But y'all ain't running no damn show in Grenada. That's the whole damn problem. This delusional immigrant myth they create for themselves. Y'all ain't running a damn thing in Grenada. If you were, your mama wouldn't have to come over here for a better opportunity. We'd all be trying to break in over there. If y'all were running the damn show anywhere outside of North America, we'd all be trying to get with you because that's where it would be popping. The illegal aliens are anybody who can get out of that damn son of a gun. They grab a door out of their house and try to turn it into a raft and float their ass wherever they can. You're not running a damn thing. Stop trying to perpetuate that lie, Amanda. You wasn't running nothing in the Caribbean. I'm throwing the whole Caribbean. You ain't running a damn thing. Not one. They have this damn myth. Well, there's some of us who ain't as bad off as the others. What you ain't doing is running nothing. If you were, you would be staying. Your mama wouldn't have the story of how she fled to America. Your mother would not have the story, Amanda, of how she fled to America if they were running things in Grenada. So just stop the damn lying.
Here, she wasn't the majority, so how did she succeed?
She succeeded because she came here with the fortitude of coming from a place.
Her resilience, right?
No, but
and she had her village.
Let me say what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll let you unpack.
She succeeded because she got with a black man who was already from here. She succeeded because we cleared the way and cleared the land. She succeeded because she came to a place with folks who were 10 toes down and folks who got they damn tennis shoes on to run. She came to a place where folks who don't wear tennis shoes to run, we wear combat boots. We ain't got no damn tennis shoes. We got combat boots. So the folks who had their tennis shoes laced up and were running across the damn sea, they got over here and said, damn, these niggas stand firm. That's why she came here. Not because of her fortitude, her work ethic, her integrity, because of our fortitude, our integrity, our work ethic. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Creating some damn myth. If mama was so on point, we'd be kicking it with her. And that's real talk. I don't want folks sitting up here lying about the significance of it. She came to a place where there were some Negroes who made a lane where you could actually come up because you can't come up in Grenada. Because you run the show in Grenada. And you done run the show into the damn concrete in Grenada. And there's nothing for you in Grenada. And there's nothing you can get. And ain't no way up in Grenada. She had to come to a place where there was a way up. And that's why she here, along with all of the rest of them. And that's the real story. Period. That's the real story. Could stop there, but I want to go a little bit further here. Jason, you did a lot of reviewing this week. I did it so you all wouldn't have to. Oh man. Then they bring up this next little gal, and here's my thing right here. This would be tough for me, because I ain't up for talk. I'm not up for listening to somebody's little damn me high school or college freshman chappy sit up here and try to tell me what they know. Like, who the hell are you? I was about to say something, but I'm going. All of y'all from the South know what I'm thinking about a female who thinks she's older and more mature than she is. We got two old sayings from the South about a little old gal who thinks she's smarter than she is and thinks she grown and more knowledgeable than she is. I can't say it because there's a bit of a vulgarity. But my folks from the South, y'all know we got two sayings about somebody's little gal. It's like, girl, how old are you again? I just turned 18. What in the hell is this? You can't even see straight? Damn. Girl, you just learned how to use feminine products without hurting yourself. What the hell you gonna teach me? I'm going to leave that saying there. When I just said I'm going to leave it there, but it's like, you just learned and you go, what in the hell are you going to teach me? How the hell am I going to sit across the table? I'm sitting across the table with you for what? What the hell are you going to teach me? It just became legal for you to drink. What the hell? What life experiences are you drawing off of? You're going to tell me what racism is or isn't? Girl, you just stopped singing along with the damn Teletubbies. You just stopped dancing with Barney. What the hell do you think you gonna teach me? In any case, all right, we got two light-skinned chicks at the table. What could possibly go wrong?
That's not a cabinet.
I don't know.
Scott Turner.
Okay.
So we got two.
So there are.
So we got two.
Can we also?
We got two. So back to your point, DEI is about expanding.
Oh yes. Okay.
Not lowering credibility.
Okay.
So if we have a system that has very actively said these particular people are the best people simply because of their race, DEI said, or their gender.
Okay.
Because DEI mostly leveled up white women.
Okay. So it would be incorrect if it.
Okay. Once again, people, we've been saying this for decades. Before the new black media said it, these Goombas would go on television and would never point this out. We've been talking about this about affirmative action for 2 decades now. These Goombas never got on television and pointed that out. They never said it. So in other words, if it didn't help us when it was here, it ain't gonna hurt us when it's gone. But these folks never put that in this perspective. Got Roland Martin Day still talking about DEI and affirmative action and the loss of it, and then finally coming up here, oh, well, you know, actually it benefits white women more than anybody else. Then why is it that we've been saying it for decades and y'all are just now in 2025 saying it? Now, they were attacking us. They're just now in 2025 saying it, and we've been saying this since before the Obama administration. And now here they come in parachuting in at the last damn minute with their immigrant background, and they're here to lead the damn parade. You should have a 2-decade-long track record of us being able to document you said the same damn thing, because we got ours. Our paperwork on the yard is platinum. Our paperwork on the yard is pristine. But now they're just now putting that in this context. Maybe if these folks had been put in the context the whole damn time, it would have changed some things, because then your politicians couldn't run from what their policy really was. We were the only ones saying it. Now that we finally started succeeding, now here they all come along. Okay, damn it, I guess we got to say it. Then we're going to see if they take another direction.
You know, if we're pointing toward this, you know, a majority of race is qualified because of the skin, the basic skin color.
Absolutely, yeah. Whether they're white, black.
Okay,
I mean, race is fake anyway.
Now, I do want to touch on a point that you did mention earlier, that you would argue
race is fake. All right. Like I say, y'all, it's just African-American studies graduate. African-American studies graduate.
That, you know, black people have less opportunities in America. I do not agree with that. I have not had, you know,
first of all, you're a light-skinned woman.
And so are you.
Yes.
And you're doing great.
Okay, first of all, how the hell old are you? My question, it's not about her. Why the hell didn't the man ask the real damn question? This is what happens when you have an incompetent person at the table. You just want to ask that little gal, look here, little chappie, how old are you? Telling me about what you haven't seen and what you don't know. How old are you again? I I'm 19. What the hell have you seen by? Tell me all the places you've seen and how much you've investigated at 19. Who the hell's little old gal is sitting up out here with her damn cowboy boots on? Baby, you ain't even dressed like you seen nothing. No disrespect. You ain't even dressed like you been nowhere and seen nothing. Why didn't Amanda point that out? With all the other folks she talked to, people, why didn't she ask them where your people from? You know why? Because to the folks in the chat room who were slow kids on the slow bus, didn't get it earlier, she can't talk about where her daddy from. Because if she asked them where your people from, they gonna ask her from the same place your people from.
And deal with it, nigga.
See, that's the difference right there. You see, she's self-conscious about that. When you don't share our lineage, there are certain weapons you can use, but there are certain weapons that you actually cannot use because they'll backfire on you. Amanda Seals cannot educate you about this. Rolling the Bowling Ball cannot educate you about this. Only those of us who come from the soil, we can educate you about this. We're the only ones that would come to us reflexively, because I know you can't pull my card on that one. I can use that weapon. Amanda Seals cannot use that weapon, which is why, amazingly, throughout this whole damn thing, she could have shut any of them down arguing against reparations if she had said, where your people from? But you see, she couldn't. So the thing that all of us say reflexively, that we've taught you all to reflexively ask, by the way, hey, quick paperwork check. Where your people from? Yeah. We'll get to the debate in a moment. Quick paperwork check. Where your people from? Paperwork check. Oh, wait a minute. Yo people from Nigeria, yo people from Lagos, yo people from Grenada. Nigga, sit your ass down. What you speaking on our reparations? Who are you to speak on our reparations? So you see, Amanda can't say that. Or she's too self-conscious to say that because, she's too self-conscious about that. In the chat room, Toby, she didn't stomp on that. Stop that. Don't try that one. No, sir, she did not stomp on that. No. And I said what I just said. She should have asked every single one. Dude, to the slow bus children, please catch up. Okay, this is how the program sits up here and gets derailed. For anybody who wants to go watch the Jubilee thing, you can. To the slow bus kids who didn't get it the first time, it's just rewatch it, dude. Just rewatch it. She could have shut this whole thing down by asking every one of them who walked up there, where your people from? The girl I just showed her talking to, she didn't ask her that. The girl had to volunteer where her family from. We from Nigeria. She could have shut this down with all them damn folks sitting up there with these crazy haircuts. She could have shut down each and every one simply by asking them as soon as they sat down, whoa, you ain't right. Where your people from? That did not happen. I just showed you it didn't happen. I'm showing you during this debate right here. It didn't happen with this one. So take the weekend off. I know some folks, I heard them here. Take the weekend off, dude. And listen for comprehension. Listen for comprehension. It's a game changer. Now, did you hear what she just said to the girl there, though? The first thing she said is that you're light-skinned.
Anything like that.
I mean, I understand that you may not say that exactly, but a lot of the things are, they're pointing to that.
No, it's not pointing to that.
Okay.
And so that is that. I need to clear this up because it's a really important point.
Okay.
We live in a nation that has actively pedestaled white people. Can we all agree on that? That we
in the past,
we can't.
in the past,
in the
but
past,
not currently.
In the past.
But not currently.
So okay, fair.
Oh, please.
Nigga, what?
Somebody's little old gal done got up here talking about we used to pedestalize them, not currently. When she said that, you're supposed to immediately say, where your people from? Girl with your Barbie doll bimbo ass, where are your people from talking stupid like this? Because we know you're not from here talking like that. You know about America from comic books and commercials on your phone. You don't actually live in America. You weren't actually raised in America. You talking about America from what you saw in comic books and commercials. You ain't talking about what you done walked the street and seen. You ain't talking about that. We're talking about what we lived and what we see every day. She's talking about some mess that they saw back in her village or back on her island. She's not talking about what she's lived. She doesn't have the age and very clearly doesn't have the background. But do you see her falling right in line? America doesn't pedestalize white women. It's just like, okay, this is a little old light-skinned chick who hangs out with nothing but white girls, and she's saying what has assimilated with them because she wants to be accepted by them, which is part of the light-skin syndrome. We're going to get to that in a moment. Oh, I ain't going to let that go. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay, so how many black people are a part of this administration's cabinet?
I'm not sure. Can you tell me? Can you fill me in?
Zero. Who?
So it seems like there may be a couple.
That's not a cabinet.
I don't know.
Scott Turner.
Okay.
So there are. So we got two.
So there are.
So we got two. We got two. So back to your point, DEI is about expanding.
Oh yes. Okay.
Not lowering credibility.
Okay.
So if we have a system that has very actively said these particular people are the best people simply because of their race, DEI said, or their gender.
Okay.
Because DEI mostly leveled up white women.
Okay. So it would be incorrect if it's, if we're pointing toward this, a majority of race is qualified because of the skin, the base of their skin.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Whether they're white, black.
Okay,
I mean, race is fake anyway.
Now, I do want to touch on a point that you did mention earlier, that you would argue that, black people have less opportunities in America. I do not agree with that. I have not had,
First of all, you're a light-skinned woman.
And so are you.
Yes.
And you're doing great.
All right, let me go ahead and deal with this. Now, first of all, let me give Amanda Seales credit. Let me give her credit for that. She did point out to the little old girl, take a look at the girl's hair and everything. She is trying her best Candace Owens impersonation. She's trying her best to imitate a white girl to the best of her little old little child ability. I don't know if she looks in the mirror and tells herself she's Zendaya or whatever, but Zendaya looks more black than she does. So you got one of those. I'll give Amanda Seales credit for calling out the light skin privilege. I will give her credit for that. I will give Amanda credit for calling out the light skin privilege and saying that, by the way, you're a little light skinned girl. So yeah, of course you're talking silly like that because you're light skinned. So you're not as offensive to the dominant society. Which just begs another point. It really, really does. Oh, I got to say this. Amanda, you're talking about a female with a degree. She's articulate, she's intelligent, and she is crazy as hell.
And deal with it, nigga.
Oh, to the light-skinned chicks tonight. I got to take a brief detour to talk to y'all. Why is it the light-skinned chicks they come in two flavors, coons and crazy? Oh, man. What is it with the light-skinned chicks? They come in two flavors, coonified and crazy as hell. Can you imagine living in a house with Amanda Seales?
Nigga, what?
Oh, could you imagine, if you were a man, could you imagine living with Amanda Seales? Oh, nigga, it's nonstop arguing, nonstop drop, knock down, drag out. She's constantly telling you where you're wrong, telling you about her degree, telling you about how many classes she's taken, telling you about what she's got. Could you imagine it? And yes, I know about her and her false allegations too, by the way. So there was one fellow who decided to test them waters and she handed out false allegations. So much for being an educated black man with her. So he tried to have that work out. Does Amanda have kids? By the way, does Amanda have kids? But yeah, man, it's the light-skinned chicks. It's just no hate. Jason, you always hating on light-skinned chicks. Okay, am I hating or am I telling the truth? Come on now. Come on now. Just to team light-skinned, no hate, but you know it. Oh, and don't let it be a light-skinned broad with big eyes, because they're Katie bar the door. It's all gone to hell. So they know. Can we get some light-skinned chicks who ain't two birds over the cuckoo's nest? Can we get that? We used to have high yellow chicks who wasn't just completely throwed off, They wasn't just completely out their damn minds. lot of coonery going on. No, Dorothy Dandridge. You get the point, but yeah, man, look here. Team Light Skin, I don't know if we can get this straightened out. It's like it's a few of y'all in there who ain't just completely, but otherwise, oh man, it's what's happening at this table right now. This is what it means. This is what it means right here. To all the high yellow chicks, the half white, half black, whatever, mixed chicks, this is what it's like right here. Coon or crazy. Crazy or coon. It's just, this is what a fella got to choose from. Why does the black men be steering around us? And then you look at this table, and it's like, I'll be damned. They're cute, they're articulate, they're, quote, educated, they're gainfully employed, and nigga, it's the last thing you want to give your jeans to. It's, well, man, what's wrong, dude? You ain't talked to them yet, have you? But they look fine to me, nigga. You better go beneath the paint. What's wrong with them? You ain't talked to them yet, have you? Yeah, you ain't tried to think about making a life with this. Oh, could y'all imagine trying to make a life with it? Nigga, could you imagine waking up one day married with children to either one of these? You get the little coon over there on the right who's telling you ain't no racism, ain't no white supremacy. She's soft-voiced and it's how you doing, dear? Ain't no racism. You know, those Negroes are complaining. Why don't they just understand they pull themselves about the bootstraps? Oh, nigga, what?
Nigga, what?
Nigga, what? Or you got Amanda Seals. It's, okay, she acknowledges racism. All right, she's educated, got it. And then you got to hear about abortion and feminism and toxic masculinity and misogynoir. And, oh, man. What are we supposed to do with this? So, yeah, I had to take a brief detour. She brought up the light skin thing. I'm so glad she brought that up, but there's another side of it. There is another side of it in case nobody's talked about it, and that was the side of it. So it's, man, you're stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. You're stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. Ain't no right answer. You can say whatever you want to. There is no right answer to this equation. It's, nigga, pick your poison. Pick your poison. If I take the younger one, maybe I can help wean her off of that. Maybe I got some runway to teach her something. She might wake up one day. Because Amanda, that's a lost cause. You ain't changing nothing with Amanda. There's nothing you can do with her. You just have to take the crazy for the rest of your damn life. And with the chick over there on the right, yeah, you might have a few years to straighten her out, you know. It's just that I'm not talking about, I didn't say you can. I'm just saying, hey, if you got to choose one or the other one, oh, damn, roll the dice. I might have a few years to straighten this little heifer out over here. Take her to the Ku Klux Klan cookout and let them rough her up for a little bit, and maybe that'll knock that out of her. But ain't nothing you can do with Amanda Seals except, you know, feel the pain. That's all you can do right there. It's just, and as she gets older, don't you know it's going to get worse? Oh, as she gets older, it's going to get worse. And then they bring her on to speak for us. Oh, this was malfeasance. This was malfeasance. I do not agree. I do not agree. I must object. I must object. I have to. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the link to the Zoom is at the top of the chat room. You are more than welcome to go ahead and chip in on this. If you've been watching tonight's program here, I want you to hold off. If you've been considering subscribing, might want to wait a little bit there and wait till the end of the program, see if we've enticed you enough to want to do that. We'll revisit that. However, I want to take your calls now, and if you've been instructed by my mods to call in, that is not just a suggestion, that is an order. So you are to click the Zoom link, sit back, smile, and dial. And you can have your opportunity to enunciate on this for yourselves. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Miss Harrington. Shout out Miss Harrington. Thank you very much for your support, sister. We appreciate that. To my man, Mr. Richburg, Mark B. Thank you very much for your support here as well. Shout out here to Ray the King. We came over here with $1.75, worked, hired, and made some of ourselves the biggest lie that they tell. You damn right about that. They're going to try to ride that horse as far as they can get with it. Thank you here to Najee, Glennis, Sharima, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. We're going to go ahead, y'all calling in on Zoom. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break so you all can get loaded up over here on Zoom. And we can take your calls and see what's on your mind. This is the Black Channel.
Did you know hip-hop is more than just music? It's a movement shaping the places we live, work, and grow. Rap Estate, hip-hop's influence on housing, community, and neighborhood development dives deep into how this powerful culture has become a force for change. From its roots in urban neighborhoods to its global impact, discover how artists like Public Enemy and Jay-Z use lyrical storytelling to spotlight issues like gentrification, economic justice, and affordable housing. This groundbreaking book uncovers the stories, struggles, and solutions inspired by hip-hop, turning beats and rhymes into blueprints for real change. Ready to see how hip-hop is rebuilding communities and empowering lives? Get your copy of Rap Estate today and join the movement.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the gains. Listen, be the teacher.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneyBadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. The link to the Zoom is now open. If you want to go ahead and weigh in, it is open to you here. And we have been discussing tonight about they are adopting our language now. Our language has not just entered the mainstream, it's taking it over. It is taking it over here The folks are using it across the board, and Coulter, they're using it on Rolling the Bowling Ball. These folks are out there. They're speaking a language. We've been tracking this for a while because we want you to understand that when it comes to relevance, they don't use your language because it's irrelevant. They use it because it is. They use it because it's been picked up. They use it because other folks are tapping into it. And not just the language, the stuff that we talk about and the way that we talk about it. It is not just the language that we use, it is the subject matter. They are now discussing these subjects in exactly the same context that we do. Now, for those of you who were here with us going on 2 decades ago, I know it's been a slog. I know it's been a slog. I know it's been a grind. I know it's been a glacial pace, if you will. But I also told you that this is a marathon, not a sprint. We didn't get into this thing overnight. We're not going to get out overnight. You're not going to be out of this in one commercial break or with 2 or 3 tweets on Twitter. This is going to take a constant, consistent, maintained, sustained campaign. That's what it's going to have to take. But if we keep at it, it's going to show results. People, don't believe me. I keep having programs like this to review these things. Yes, I keep sampling what's going on out there. I go watch these things so you all don't have to, and I bring it back to you so hopefully you go ahead and adopt it and use it. But I'm just bringing you the facts for yourselves. People, don't believe me. I could be biased. I have a vested interest in saying, hey, we were correct about this. Don't believe me, but believe the other folks I'm talking about. Believe the people who are against us. Don't believe me. Go listen to the people who are against us and see how they're talking. See what they're saying. Am I making it up? Am I fabricating it? Or did I play for you all and this is just one night among many? To show you that. I wanted you to get that and I wanted you to see that. That's the important part. Because these other folks will jump up here later, and this is why it is so essential that we document this and that I keep you up to date on it. It's essential that we do this because these other folks will try to jump up later, man. They'll try to jump up later, and next thing you know, they're going to be claiming to speak for us. After they've been working against us. Amanda Seals has not historically been a friend of intelligent black society. Angela Rye has not historically been an ally or a friend to what we do. They have been openly hostile to it. Now, when somebody hosts a YouTube program, all of a sudden they go on there repeating our talking points. Because she's not saying something that she's been saying for a decade, 2 decades. She's not doing that. They're repeating our talking points, our philosophy, our phraseology, which is why I stopped you tonight to say, wait a minute, there are certain things that Amanda's not saying because she can't. And these things have relevance. She could have gone up and down the line, shutting this down from one end to the other, but she didn't do that. Yeah, because when you're not actually in tune with what we do, you're cosplaying it, you start missing whole great big pieces of it. That's the issue. You start missing whole great big parts of it. And so when you go out in these places, you just get caught. Now, she didn't do bad, but it wasn't because she was so great. It's because the folks they had around her were so inept. I mean, black conservative, it defeats itself. There's one fella in particular, by the way, I do want to talk about him, one fella in particular, but we'll come back to that. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom right quick. Let me jump on Zoom. All right, while I'm waiting over here on Zoom, folks got the Zimbabwe broadband going. All right, I'm looking for Blanco on Zoom. There you are, Blanco. What's on your mind?
What's up, Jason? Another great broadcast as always. What do you expect other than from like a former frat boy? You know, all these college types, whoever the winning team is, that's what they start saying. Suddenly, DEI isn't a good idea anymore. You know, affirmative action benefits white women and all that. Sure, great idea, but who's been saying it for the last, 10 years, So they only get on the train once the lexicon, once the vocabulary is even so prevalent that even Ann Coulter can, come up with some kind of term like that. So yeah, like don't give it any other second thought other than just, okay, cool. Suddenly you just need to be on the winning team and that's all it is.
Yeah, but here's the issue about it. The issue about it is on the internet, if we don't continually, constantly remind people of what these folks' track record is, Roland is going to eventually try to pivot and try to talk to young people. What? I want you all to understand. See, he's failed to accept the ideology and stuff at this point. Now he's starting to pivot. Next step is he's going to start trying to talk to the young people. And we need to be there to remind him, y'all, he is not sincere. The only reason he's when we mentioned you all before during Joe Biden's campaign, he said, we don't need the young folk. We got the old people. So if we don't continuously remind people, they're going to forget. And he'll be reintroduced to a newer generation that doesn't know. And they don't know how far it went and how bad it was. So this is a necessary thing. We keep talking about Obama because if we don't, you can't expect the mainstream media is not going to accept this narrative. They're going to he was a useful tool. So they're going to, what y'all really need is another Obama. We didn't need the one we had. So if we don't say it, these other folks are going to misinform people and lie to them. So it's essential we keep it in that context. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and jump back over here right quick because there was something else. There was something else here. There was something else. There was this one little fella here, and I'm telling you, it's some of these people here. I don't know if it's incelism or whatever, but this guy here, watch this for yourselves.
Which one? My claim is that black people as a community need to walk away from the Democratic Party and progressivism completely.
Now, I know some of y'all might think that this is Kanye West in a disguise. Damn! I know some of y'all might think that. You see, Jason, is that Kanye West in a disguise? No. It's somebody said Jordan Peele. But it's not. No. That's not the case, y'all, but let him keep talking. I'm going to let him keep talking, but yeah, buddy, this is what they had sitting across the table from Amanda Seals.
I'm saying this from a very unique perspective. I'm not trying to shout myself or anything. This is really just my experience. Currently, I'm running for Congress, right? And one of the biggest hurdles...
Nigga, what?
Okay, y'all heard it for yourselves.
Which one? My claim is that black people as a community need to walk away from the Democratic Party and progressivism completely. I'm saying this from a very unique perspective. I'm not trying to shout myself or anything. This is really just my experience. Currently, I'm running for Congress, right? And one of the biggest hurdles I have in doing that is the black community. It's because they expect us to be in this box.
What's the box?
The box would be, okay, you're black, so you got to be a Democrat. You got to think this way. You have to have this view on this matter.
No, you got to tell me, think what way?
Like,
I really want to understand.
So let's take immigration. That's a hot button issue right now, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My view is that you should come here the legal way, and that if you don't come here the legal way, you are subject to the laws of the country. But I also feel that if you're...
anyone would disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that a lot of people, especially where I'm from San Diego, will like to put black conservatives in this box. And the reason why I say specifically in my claim that black people need to walk away from the Democratic Party is because every single election cycle, all they do is use us as their tokens. They use us as their kind of election tools. They use us as these campaign posters. They tell us to come to their rallies. They tell us to sing on their stages. They tell us to do all these things, and they forget about us 3 other years, and they remember us 4 years later. Every single cycle, it happens again and again. And I'm one of the people, like, I really appreciate you because it seems like you have a love for the black community and you have a love for people, and I appreciate that. And I do too, because I don't express that in the same way as, let's say, as a black person who's a member of the Democratic Party. I get called Uncle Tom, I get called a racist. I hate myself. I love myself, and I love our people. I love everything about us. We have done so much for this country. We built this table that everyone is seated at. We deserve rights. We deserve all these things. However, what I don't like more than anything, is being used. It's being used by politicians, being used by governments as some type.
And my point is, okay, he's been talking for how long now? Does he have a question? I mean, I get it, but I'm just like, I didn't know I thought this was a debate. I didn't know they brought you here to monologue. So I'm just, by the way, did he actually have a question, or is he here to freestyle?
A puppet to say, here's my black person that's voting for me. I don't like that. And that makes me sad, no matter you're Democrat, Independent,
Can
Green
I
Party,
respond?
whatever. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
I completely agree.
Okay. Well, thank you, Amanda, for stopping him, because this dude here, he was just ready to spaz out. Next, if she had let him keep talking, he was just going to say, and the women don't appreciate it, and the women don't appreciate an intelligent black man. What? Yeah, that was up next, so yeah.
I completely agree. I would add to that it's no different with the Conservative Party, that there is 1,000% a use of black people to weaponize a concerted effort to literally, quote unquote, make America great again. The concept of make America great again did not start with Donald Trump. It started with Ronald Reagan, and it happened right after the Civil Rights Movement. There was a very strong, visceral response by white people after the Civil Rights Movement, after the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act of 1969, the Economic Opportunity Act of 1965. These were all efforts that were put in place on a federal level to say, okay, fine, here in the damn, we're going to give you a little bit of something to get your weight up. After that, there was a active effort made by conservatives, because that's also when we saw the flip between the Democratic and Republican parties.
Flip.
There was a flip. That's actively what happened. There was a flip.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand the problem with these right wingers and these wannabe right wingers is they want historical revisionism. The Jillian Michaels and whatnot, it's just history is not good enough. History has been too much of a liability. So they've embarked on historical revisionism, and they're just going to tell you, I'm white and I say so. That didn't happen. That didn't occur. And they're hoping that you don't know what happened. They'll just say that didn't happen. They hope you don't have any actual details. And that's another thing I want you all to understand something here. I've been listening to a lot of these so-called debates on these programs on CNN and others. And I gotta tell you all right now, if you want to know how to destroy most of these people, I'm going to give you the key right now. Demand details. Don't let them say something as if it's a fact. If they tell you something that is statistical, you tell them name. I want the name, in the words of Monique, names or it didn't happen. Most of the time, they're going to sit up here and just like when Barrister calls me up. Y'all know this. Jason, how you shut him down? All I do is tell him, where's your evidence? I want names. Give me specifics. He doesn't get to tell me about the doctor. I tell him name two. Name two of them. You all have witnessed with your own ears. More often than not, that's all it's going to be. What happens is folks say things, and unfortunately in the internet age, people have vague knowledge and vague reference points. So it just becomes this back and forth between vague knowledge and vague reference points and vague references. You all could destroy 90% of them if you demanded that they actually be specific. Tell them, no, get specific. No. Give me a name. I want an exact name. Tell me the name of the country they came from, the name of the individuals, the name of the bill, the name of it. If you all would do that right there, you would shut down 90% of them. 90% of them would just collapse where they are because they can't actually substantiate it. They're giving you some hyperbole. They're giving you some fable, and then that they think is loosely, tangentially related to the truth, and they're hoping that you will not demand substantiation. You need to substantiate the statement you just made. Give me specifics. I want a name. I want a place. I want a specific bill, specific law. I want a name. If y'all do that, man, y'all don't have to be experts at debating. I'm telling you how to win it 99% of the time, not at least 90% of the time. Just demand specifics. Do not let them say things and then keep on walking. They say something objectionable. You demand, whoa, cite your source. Cite your reference. You need to cite your reference. Cite a source or it didn't happen. I'm telling you right now, you're lying. If you cannot cite a source, you're making it up. The only way they can disprove you is by citing their source. Where did you get that from, specifically? And I want to tell y'all, from Piers Morgan to CNN to MSNBC, 90% of the time, these people don't have a damn source anywhere. If you would simply say, cite your source. What's the name? Name two of them. It would go a long way. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick. Let me see on Zoom right quick. I got somebody here on Zoom. I don't know what's going on, folks. Connections here tonight. Here on Zoom. By the way, if you're on Zoom, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. YouTube will not see you. You will not be broadcast to the internet. But just to make sure I don't have any trolling issues, that's kind of important for me. So, okay, I got somebody on Zoom. He's rocking it down the highway. Okay, what's your name, brother?
My name is Coach Leonard out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay, what's that name again?
Coach Leonard out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay, Coach, what's on your mind? Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Not to get off subject tonight, but the work with Juan Camelo Anthony, I'm sure me.
Okay, brother, your connection is freezing up here, but hopefully the Bob Marley broadband will come through a little bit better for you here next time. It'll hopefully come together a little bit better.
And since Reconstruction, Democratic Party has been the party of slavery, the party of racism.
There was a flip because the Democrats were more aligned with making these civil rights concessions than the Republicans. That's the flip. Ultimately, though, the flip is what people are misappropriating, because the flip isn't a 180. Okay, if the flip is literally just we was this and now we this, and that is not the same as we are for black people. The Democratic Party is not for black people, nor is the Republican Party. Any nation that has a bipartisan system that doesn't even allow for its own people to determine who are going to be the candidates for president isn't for its people in general, beyond blackness. So it's imperative that we begin to truly understand the systems at work in this government that not only hinder us as black people, but they hinder anyone who wants to see change, because they are ultimately working together. Now, do we see one party activating higher levels of discrimination than others? Yes. Do we see one party that is more violent per se than others? Yes. And we can say this on many different levels. But when it comes to like enacting genocide or destabilizing other nations, we know that that happens on an American level, regardless. Okay? I completely agree that the idea that you have to act a certain way as a black person is really problematic, because the Democrats and the Republicans, neither of them actually care about black people. And when we talk about conservatism or we talk about being a liberal, neither of these aspects were grounded in how do we help to repair the harm that we have caused an entire group of people who made it possible for us to even have care about black people. And when we talk about conservatism or we talk about being a liberal, neither of these aspects were grounded in how do we help to repair the harm that we have caused an entire group of people who made it possible for us to even have a constitution.
Brothers and sisters from around the world, I only recall one person who has repeatedly said the phrase Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. These terms were not created by us. They're not for us. Therefore, they don't serve us. She went a Democrat, Republican, and then conservative and liberal. You see, when you got to tap into an ideology, you got to make sure you tap into a solid one. You have to make sure you tap into one that's been battle tested. You got to tap into one that's been put through the flames and been put through the fire and been put through the crucible. You got to go through something like that solid that folks can't just push back on and knock you over. It ain't going to work that way. It's not going to work that way. So when she had to tap into something, folks, I just want to remind you, she tapped into something solid. She didn't go off on some of that Afrocentric academic Lamarck, Lamont, Hill, Michael Eric, Dyson, Flim Flam. When she got thrown out there in the internet, she started tapping into what those of us who've been out here in the gladiatorial arena of hand-to-hand combat have been doing now for going on 2 decades. She didn't want to get her block, knock, smooth, slap the hell off. She had to tap into something solid. She had to tap into something solid. So you see, she didn't just throw the Democrats under the bus. She said conservative and liberal. Well, I'll be damned, because Amanda will come right back and tell you about how she progressive. She'll come right back and be preaching that to you. Oh, Jason, what was the fallacy of it? I just showed you what it was. By the way, Amanda will be back here in a week telling you all about she's a progressive. Now, when she was actually in the pit, when she actually had to throw blows out there, she had to latch on to a solid ideology. And the solid ideology is that we are separate from all of that. But don't worry if she shows up on Joy Reid on the internet or CNBC or CNN or something. It'll be right back to I'm progressive. Well, you're liberal. It'll be right back to that again. And that's not accidental. You see, if you're going to leave the Democrat plantation, you got to have somewhere solid to go. You can't just jump up and cross your fingers and hope for the damn best. You got to have something solid to lean on. You have to be ready not just for what they just said. You got to be ready for what they're going to say next. You see, you say the wrong thing and then boom, they got you. You slipped up. We got you right then, right there. And then it just keeps rolling downhill. So once you get caught with that first left, you're going to get caught with another right and another left. And oh man, it just goes downhill from there. So I'm just letting you all know that she had an opportunity here to say what it was. She had an opportunity to speak what it was, and she let you know that. She let you know that. You see, that's the point I'm making to you here is a whole bunch of folks right now, they had something specific to take a look at. They had something specific to take a look at, and that wasn't the thing. They didn't go relying on theirs. They had to rely on our ideology because it's actually tested. Ours is actually tested and theirs isn't. Now that they're having to survive on their own, they're tapping into the folks who can actually prove it. That's what they're doing. They're tapping into that. They're tapping into what we've been saying here because it's not something that just showed up one random afternoon. See, they've been at war with us and taking issue with us now for years, people. Angela Seals has had years. You see, when Obama was in the White House and Biden and the rest of these folks, Amanda Seals has never made common cause with us. I got to call that for what it is, Amanda. I got to say it for what it is. Amanda has never made common cause with us. Amanda Seals has never joined us. And in light of what I'm saying here tonight, by the way, I'm going to tiptoe a little bit further on it. See, we've kind of reached the end of that point here where folk get to have these one-night dalliances with us. What? Some folks going to have to come and claim the soil. Some folks are going to have to come and claim the soil. And maybe you don't have to become a signatory to every one of our bullet points on the list of principles, but this thing about, claiming us behind closed doors, if you will, claiming us on the sneak and claiming us on the backside and claiming us if ain't nobody looking, that right there. I'm here to announce tonight, that's running thin. That's running thin. I got to say that's running thin. Folks want to talk about what they want to get done and what they're trying to do. And my whole thing about it is I hear you. I mean, I really, really do. I really, really do. But by the same token here, there's a whole lot of stuff I need consistency. Nina Turner. I've always big up Nina. I'll continue to do so when she's in the right, but I will say one thing. There's a whole bunch of folks who say things. I'm not putting folk on the spot. I'm not doing that. What I am saying, though, is that you all ain't got no base like that. And if you think you're going to consolidate one on Pierce Morgan, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. So I see some of y'all who are trying to consolidate power and you think you're going to nibble around the edges. However, that's going to be an incredibly difficult thing for you to do because you see, you've been shut out from the inside. You have been completely separated and divorced from the power structure. So it's one thing to go and be a commentator if that's your goal. I suppose you can do that. But I just got to say to you, even that's going to have limited effect to it. Here's the difference, people. Here's the critical difference. The critical difference is that this on the Black Channel, this is not the result of an election cycle. This is not the result of Joe Biden's campaign. This is the result of 2 decades of consistent, relentless, uncompromising consistency and effort. We are here every weekend. We are here on holidays. This is a foundation of true believers. We don't pay attention to election cycles. We have an agenda and a code that isn't dependent upon publicity that can only be gained if there's an election or just after the election. So they want to talk about you during the election or just after the election, and then for the next 2 or 3 years, they don't speak to you. You don't exist, which means you can't rely on Pierce Morgan's platform is what I'm trying to say. There are a bunch of y'all think you're going to gain sustenance relying on other people's platforms and other people's audiences. Folk who used to be on CNN and used to be on Fox and used to be on MSNBC. I couldn't help but notice that there are some of you, it's very obvious that's what you think is going to occur. I got bad news for you. It's not going to happen. Not like that, it won't. Because as soon as you are dependent on them to call you when they want to, in the modern era, baby, you got to build your own. You have to have a platform. Once you make it, the good news is it's not dependent on an election. You can keep moving and mobilizing and getting things to happen in between. Politicians show up for election day. We have become an influential force because we are here when it's not election day. Damn! See, there's the difference. We're out here discussing the politicians and the events and the issues when there is no election. So by the time the election comes around, we've drilled it into people's heads and hard coded it into their brains what the issue is. Like him or not, white supremacist Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk went to work the day after Joe Biden was elected. Charlie Kirk didn't sit up here and boo-hoo and sing the blues and, oh man, what we gonna do? Charlie Kirk said he went to work immediately. They started galvanizing for 2024 immediately. They got to work on it right then, right there. They didn't give it a moment's hesitation. They started moving and didn't quit moving. And by the time 2024 had rolled around, all the places he had been, all the folks he had talked to, all the names they had gathered, all the people they put on their list, all the folks they had been speaking to in between, those people, they had kept the engine warm. They had kept the engine going. And when the election came rolling around, all they had to do was increase the RPMs on the engine. They didn't have to figure out how to start an engine out of nowhere. Charlie Kirk didn't have to start up an engine cold starting it. Kamala Harris did. And then she sat around ignorantly, stupidly, listening to a bunch of folk who are not in touch with any of us. And they told her that they could deliver the vote. You would be far better served talking to the new black media than talking to any of these ass clowns from the old dead black media for one reason. The old dead black media is talking to the base. They're talking to the people who vote blue no matter who. But elections today are won by your swing voters, your in-betweeners. Roland Martin's audience is not in-betweeners. His audience is hardcore blue dog sucking ass Democrats. That's his audience. You're not expanding the audience by talking to him. And he is incapable of expanding that audience. Furthermore, he hasn't done the footwork. You see, hosting your conversations here with your usual panel of HBCU, LGBT, give me a damn break, dropouts, and failures, that ain't moving the damn needle. We get out here, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter Space, you're on Instagram, you're talking back and forth here. It's a two-way conversation. So you see, we hear what the real arguments are, and we're putting the real counter arguments into the atmosphere, into the arena on a weekly and daily basis. Roland's not doing that. Roland is gathered together. Let's be very, very clear. Roland, your audience is the old, whoever's surviving, Tom Joyner audience.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's all you got. Your audience is all the old bootlicking, frat house, Q-dog, butt-sucking HBCU cast-offs who used to listen to Tom Joyner. That's your audience. And out of potentially 10 million people or so, you maybe got 1 million of them, and then maybe if you can get 50,000 or 100,000 to tune in. But you're not bringing in any new people. That's why your panels just get progressively older. What you all are not doing is speaking to the young and speaking to the soil. You're not speaking to them because you can't. I can speak to them. And I do. I already showed you all my metrics. We did it on my program. I did something you ain't never seen nobody else show you their metrics of what their audience breakdown is by age. My audience is significantly younger than his. Significantly. And he's had every opportunity to change that, but he can't because he's just sitting up here trying to get a dime for himself. And that's all. But we do it differently. So I want to send a message out here. Jamal Bowman.
What do
Oh, Jason, you getting raw tonight. You're saying names. We're going to do this tonight, so I ain't got to do this a second time unless you just push me there. Jamal, you can go jump up on breaking points all you want to, dude. If you think them white folk gonna give you a platform just because you got your butt cheeks smacked by AIPAC, if you think that's going to translate into sustained support, dude, look here, I don't know what kind of bags of cocaine they pass around the Capitol, but y'all need to switch to a new supplier. The stuff he got y'all on is laced with something. Y'all, it's time to switch to a new supplier. Too many of you are trying to figure out how to just go through the same old outlets. If they all white, they all right, but they're not speaking to the soil. You're trying to figure out how you can be a useful tool to other folk. And them people ain't gonna hit the streets nor the bricks. So you all can keep trying to figure out how you can get on Pierce Morgan and keep trying to figure out how you can get on Breaking Points. You can keep doing that. But I just want you to understand, you're not going to build a power base like that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Not at all. So you can like it. You can hate it. You can have issues with it. I see what y'all are doing. That's important. See, these guys have had decades now to get their damn act together, and they said our job is to deliver the black vote, and they want to do it with minimal effort here. So they just said, let me talk to the old folk here. We'll just talk to the old folk. And that's what in the world they did. Okay, but the old folk 20 years later, they're dying out. You don't have enough of them anymore. What did you do to talk to the young people? He's telling the young folk all y'all need is diabetes medication.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, please. Roland Martin is talking to Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alpha and telling us that we need to vote for the Democrats so that we can have cheaper diabetes medication. That's his pitch to you. That, well, the Democrats are going to help you with cheaper diabetes medication. And what the hell does that do for somebody out here who's 25, 35 years old? That's the issue here. He doesn't even know what to say. He's sitting in a room full of, even if you put him in a room full of 20-somethings and 30-somethings, he's going to start talking about geriatrics. And then you can't figure out why he can't move the damn needle. Of course you know why he can't move the needle. He doesn't even know who the audience is. So when he does try to pivot to that audience, what does he do? He starts co-opting the ideology, the agenda, and the talking points of the people who do. He just starts using ours. Well, he's going to find that to be a difficult road to hoe. That's going to be tough to do because, you see, you can't fake what we do, Roland. You can't fake what we do, Amanda. You can't be fake at this, baby. You can't be fake at this because understand something. Light-skinned pound cake. We make enemies over here.
And deal with it, nigga.
We make enemies over here, baby. We don't get invited to the parties. We don't get invited to CNN or MSNBC. We don't get to sit up here and have some erudite conversation with some Washington liberal, baby. We're the insurgents. We out here in the field. And the very folk you want to suck up to for a little old job or a little old grant, they put us on watch lists. For real, for real. We get put on watch lists. We get drug out of our cars in the middle of the Arizona desert in the middle of the night. We get marched out of our houses at gunpoint by the LAPD. You ain't got no stories like that. We get yanked out of the line at the airport and told we think you got bomb material in your bags. You don't have any stories like that. There's nothing you can name that has a story like that. And the folk you want to suck up to, oh, those are the folks sitting up here putting these damn oppressions on us. They're the ones locking that down. So you see, you're not going to be able to do this. It's not going to work because you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I know the light-skinned chicks and all the light-skinned chicks want to ride the fence. Ain't no riding the fence over here. You 10 toes down or you 10 toes out. Ain't no in between. Ain't no fence. You're on this side of the line or you're on that side of the line. Ain't no back and forth. Ain't no in between. Paperwork check when you cross the line. And the folks who've been watching me, baby, they ain't got no love for what I'm talking about. So you see, you ain't going to be able to dabble with this. And you're not going to be able to stick with your little old black feminist psychos and make that work either. That doesn't work either, baby. So I'll be black when convenient, and I'll be a black female when convenient, and I'll be light-skinned when convenient, and I'm an immigrant when convenient, and I'm foundational when convenient. Okay, baby, ain't that much convenience in the damn world. 7-Eleven ain't got that much convenience. Ain't going to be that way. So you're going to find this just a very, very rough neighborhood to be in because you're going to make enemies. If you try to do this, it's going to wind up with you making enemies of the folk that we made enemies of, and those are the folk you depended on. So we already know you're not really going to be about that life because you can't be. You can't really bang on the immigrant thing. You've already let know, yeah, because you can't. She's still on the Pan-African wave. She's still waving that one around because that's what the white liberals like to see. See, the white liberals got scared when we let them know, by the way, yeah, we put that damn Pan-African thing down. We ain't doing the Pan-African thing here. We on something different. Didn't y'all used to? Yeah, operative word used to. Things have changed. What changed when we saw you were pulling the strings? Cut your losses. So you see, we're not getting ready for the Afrocentric bean dip cookout. We ain't getting ready for that. So if you start trying to bang on them, Amanda, you're going to have to bang on them all the way. You're going to have to bang all the way. And you won't just be able to say Democrats and Republicans. You're going to have to name names. You see, that's why Roland the bowling ball is not going to be able to do this. Roland is not going to name names. This is not about saying that Democrats should have tried harder. This will be about saying Joe the bigot Biden, anti-black white supremacist, and here are all of his machinations. Barack Buck Dancing Obama, white supremacist in blackface, and here are all the crimes he's committed against us. Amanda Seals ain't gonna go there. All the lesbians in the women's studies department at Columbia, and they ain't really gonna fool with that. She's not going to go there, people. See, that's the part that must be said that she's not going to say. So you see, you're never really gonna be able to do what we do because you ain't really like that. If you were, the whole commentary goes differently. Because you would have used that hour and a half of time in Jubilee and you would be giving them the business, but you didn't. See, this is not about being some revolutionary who is, quote, against the system. You got to name names in that system so that people are aware of exactly who we talking about, so that they can target exactly who it is. And so going forward, they know exactly what they're objecting to. It is not enough to say Democrats and Republicans are the problem. You see, when you say that everybody's the problem, you're still not saying what the issue is. You have to say the specific policies and who it was, and then you have to say what it was about them that was so deceptive and deceitful that they were able to get that through. That's what prepares people for the future when they see them rewashing it and recycling it again. Amanda does not have that conversation. She's not going to. Can we say why that is? We can say why that is very, very clearly, because Amanda Seales likes attention. Can we find a light-skinned chick who ain't bipolar?
Damn!
Folks, Jason, you back on that again. Can we find some light-skinned chicks who ain't bipolar? Some light-skinned chicks who ain't 5150. We'll start a Facebook group. We'll see if we can start a Facebook group. If you're light-skinned and not on medications or don't need to be on it, we're going to start a Facebook group so y'all can get together. In any case, okay, you're light-skinned here, but I need to see your prescriptions. What? We need to see your medical record. Have you ever been suggested for a Baker Act hold?
Nigga, what?
We need to see your medical record, and have you ever been referred for a Baker Act hold? Even if they didn't take you in. Even if they didn't take you in, I need to know if you were referred for one. Maybe they didn't get you in there, but is there a record? I'm going to look up someone that says you've been referred for one. No, this would really be a good idea if she was Baker acted. I did not actually get some enrolled in the institution. I get it, but was there somebody who was so concerned? They're like, yeah, she really need to be held for a few days. Nigga, she was standing over your bed with a voodoo doll and a butcher knife. She really needs to be held for a few days. When you got a chick at the foot of your damn bed with a voodoo doll, a butcher knife, and a book full of matches, nigga, if y'all don't let these people take that woman away, Jason, she looked like Lisa Bonet. Nigga, I don't give a damn if she looked like Sojourner Truth. If you don't get them folk to get up out of here. In any case, yeah, it's going to be a rough ride for them, believe me. It's going to be a rough ride for those of you who've been with us here this long. For those of you who've been with us here this long, you understand exactly what it's like. You've been seeing it. All I'm saying tonight is that's it. It's out there. They're saying it. They're using it. I did not bring you receipts. I brought you invoices. I did not tell you what you paid. I tell you what you owe. And I brought you the definitive evidence that our language is now officially taking over. Jason, what do we do now? Dude, are you kidding me? Foot to the floor, pedal to the metal, hell bent for leather. We ain't doing nothing but pouring on the gas from here on in. We ain't easing off the accelerator for a second, flooring it. We didn't have to move 1 inch. All we had to do was stand still and stay firm. And everybody else is moving in our direction. Exactly what I told you would occur, and now you're witnessing it happen. Oh, yeah, by the way, and that was without Obama or some Democrat. Could you imagine what the conversation would be today? So let me go ahead and deal with that right quick. Rolling the bowling ball was sitting up here talking about Donald Trump said that Slavery, we need to quit talking about slavery so much. Let me go ahead and pull this up on Twitter right quick, because I actually put it up there. Donald Trump had put something on his janky ass Twitter clone website, which nobody goes to. Dude, just give it up. This is stubbornness to a insane level at this point. Just insane. Insane levels of it. On your screens right now, this is the Donald Trump had put this up on Truth Social, which is, if there was ever a lie for a name, a website where he does nothing but lie, called Truth Social. Okay. The museums throughout Washington, but all over the country, are essentially the last remaining segment of woke. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. How bad slavery was. So Jillian Michaels, by the way, he made an ass out of you. You said he didn't say anything about slavery when he was talking about the Smithsonian. And then he turns right around on Truth Social. And by the way, about the Smithsonian, they always talking about how bad slavery was. So Jillian, he made a straight up donkey, anorexic, bony ass out of you. Well, Roland didn't like that. As a matter of fact, Roland thought that he was going to go on a victory march, everybody. He thought he was going to sit up here and wag his finger and say, I told you, dumb over there. Look what Trump is doing. You should have listened to me when I was telling you about that. No, we shouldn't have listened to a damn thing. Because this is exactly what we wanted. What? People, this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to change the status. See, Roland doesn't know anything about changing anything. He's here to get a bag, so everything he does is a lie and a grift to rip off more money. We want to change the status quo. You cannot change the status quo when the bad guys are hiding, people. Kamala Harris would have been telling us about how much she loved black folk and then undermining us every step of the way. No. This right here is what we needed. We needed this. We want this. Because you see, when we come back and talk about white supremacy being systemic, we gonna show you this. A president of the United States downplaying slavery and saying we need to talking about slavery is woke. People, you cannot prosecute a case if the bad guys and the suspects don't give you evidence. And you've got to be willing to tolerate the annoyance of certain things like this so that you can be given the hardcore, hard copy evidence that you need, not just to win the argument, but to win the war. You cannot indict somebody for something that they didn't do. Brothers and sisters, you can't indict someone for something they didn't do. You got to be like the feds. When Diddy had a freak off, he could have had 20, 30 of them, even though it didn't help them. Okay, bad example, but John Gotti, let me find a better example. When they start moving them packages, when they start doing what they do, you got to let them run so you can rack up the evidence. We can't convict Trump of things he didn't say. We can't indict him for things he didn't say. You're gonna have to let the bad guys speak. You're gonna have to let them speak. When Tim Pool and Matt Walsh talk about how great it is to say nigger, you gotta let them speak. And they're not gonna talk if they're not emboldened. So you have to let them be comfortable enough so that they start letting all the white supremacist meat hang on out. You got to let that belly flap hang on out. You want them to get all the way comfortable. and confirm all the things. Jillian Michaels said they wasn't talking about slavery. He wasn't diminishing slavery. And then Trump comes around and says, yeah, by the way, slavery wasn't that bad. So to the bowling ball, hell no, we don't want Kamala Harris. We got exactly what we wanted right here. Hardcore white supremacy exposing itself. We emboldened them and now they're just exposing it. Yes, this is what we wanted. You want them to have a full white supremacist parade. Well, Jason, why would you want that? They're going to give us a hard time. Nigga, we've been having a hard time. Where the hell you been? What was the hard time that Kamala Harris was going to spare us from? And if she was going to do that, why didn't she do that when she was with Joe Biden in the White House? No, what we're looking for here is what you got. You know why? Because let them expose themselves. Let them say too damn much. Let me go ahead and show y'all. This is how desperate they are to find anything to substantiate their white supremacy, folks. For those of you who didn't know, these white supremacists out here now complaining about the changing of the sign at Cracker Barrel.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, what?
No, seriously. You have a bunch of millennial white supremacist YouTubers like Benny Johnson, and these white supremacists are upset because Cracker Barrel changed the sign, and they said that that was woke. I'm not kidding. They said that changing the sign, Cracker Barrel changing their sign, their logo, is being woke. Well, Jason, what did they change? Well, Cracker Barrel has a picture of a man leaning on a barrel, and with the words Cracker Barrel, they simply removed the man and the barrel. Anybody in advertising knows this. That's in the age of the iPhone, your attention span is shorter, so that it simplifies the sign. And it brings it more into looking like the stuff you see at Longhorn Steakhouse and Olive Garden and KFC. It's about simplifying the graphic and simplifying the image. People, Wendy's changed their logo. What? Wendy's has changed their logo. Burger King. Tell me of McDonald's. Well, they hadn't changed the golden arches, but the rest of their signage and how their stores look. So they're talking about, well, Cracker Barrel wants to change the way their stores look. You mean, folks, Wendy's changed the way that their stores looked? Wendy's made all the franchisees change their stores. It looks like you're walking into an airport when you walk in there now. Wendy's made them change the stores. Taco Bell made all the stores change. McDonald's made all the stores change. Wendy's made all the stores change. Cracker Barrel, Walmart just renovated and remodeled all their stores. These clowns were not saying anything then because they didn't think they had anything they could use. Now, all of a sudden, Cracker Barrel saying that they want to change their logo and change the look of their stores. That's, quote, woke. White supremacist Benny Johnson said that, well, there's a white man. The white man, it was a white male on the sign, and that's why it's woke. They wanted to get rid of him. No, people, I'm serious. He said that because the guy on the sign was white, well, that they wanted to get rid of him because he's white. This is how desperate these clowns are to justify their ridiculous hate movement. They're now seizing onto, they changed the sign at Cracker Barrel. These woke people is taking overs. When folks, Church's Chicken changed their logo, changed the look of their I'll be here all night. This is what restaurants do in the modern era. This is not new. Remodeling and renovating. Everybody does this. Olive Garden did it. Hell, Red Lobster is trying to do it. So everybody does that, but the white supremacists, this is how desperate they are to find something, some cause to get behind. You know, they're changing the sign at Cracker Barrel, and they want to remodel the place. You know, that's woke. This is how desperate they are. You know that your movement is completely bankrupt when you're reduced to saying that a restaurant renovating its interior, that's woke. Now, here's the killing thing about it. When's the last time that Benny Johnson and these other white supremacists have been in a Cracker Barrel? Who are the last group of millennials that you saw go to a Cracker Barrel? Because the old folk who show up on Sunday didn't say a damn word. The people who actually go there, they didn't say nothing. So these white supremacist YouTubers who say that you shouldn't have so many black people in Marvel Comics movies because that's woke too. So thank you for admitting that woke means you're not worshiping white males. So thank you for admitting that. But they claim that, you're catering to people who aren't even there. You want to put in LGBT folks and black folk and they don't even come see the movies, which is not true. Black Panther. But by the way, the guys complaining about the Cracker Barrel's logo, when's the last time any of them even went? Pierce Morgan won't ask that question. CNN won't ask that question. That would shut it down, especially if you tell them show receipts. We want proof that you've actually been. Show us your evidence that you are a Cracker Barrel customer and you are unhappy with it. Because Cracker Barrel's customers don't have a problem with it. Folks, if you're a 25-year-old, who's the last 25-year-old you saw say, you know what, Mom, I'm going to take my girlfriend to Cracker Barrel this weekend? When was the last time you were on your Facebook timeline, your Instagram timeline, and people were showing you the view from Cracker Barrel? Do yourselves a favor. Tomorrow, go to Cracker Barrel and go see what take your phone out and do a panoramic picture and see what the average age of the person in there is. They're not millennials. They're not Gen Z. However, you have white supremacist millennials trying to tell you there's something wrong with Cracker Barrel and they're not even customers. So their complaint can't be because I love going to Cracker Barrel. I'm a very faithful customer and I don't like this for whatever crazy reason you're bringing up. You have some other reason. You got some other reason. We do know that you're not Cracker Barrel customers. So what's your real beef? You don't even care about Cracker Barrel. You don't eat there. You don't go there. If I asked you to show one piece of memorabilia from it, you wouldn't have it. I do. What? No, seriously, I do.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, what? Nigga, what?
I do. I've got one of the little, glass jars of syrup. It's like a decade old. But if I needed to show you proof that I've been to Cracker Barrel and I can show you something, I asked Benny Johnson what he can show you. Ask Benny Johnson what he can show you. He's complaining about a place that if you asked him where's his nearest Cracker Barrel restaurant, he couldn't tell you. The folk on Twitter complaining, if you asked them where the closest Cracker Barrel restaurant is to them, they couldn't tell you. But they claim they're so concerned about it. So just understand, the movement has gotten so this is a movement running on fumes, people. They're running on fumes. Yeah, I mean, if you go there, it's like putting caulk in your intestines. Damn. It really, if Cracker Barrel's pancakes, I don't know what in the hell is in those pancakes, but oh man. Oh, it turns into caulk in your intestines, boy. It hits your stomach and turns to caulk. I'm just like, the last time I was there, I'm like, yeah, I'll have a Sprite. What would you like to eat? I'd like to eat that Sprite. Yeah, the rest of these folks here, let them do whatever they want. I'll have a Sprite. Yes. I don't think that can turn into caulk. I don't think that can turn to caulk in my digestive tract. I don't think that can happen. So yeah, to the rest of you, if you love it, I mean, that's, hey, bro, gobble up. If you like it, hey, more power to you, gobble up. But as for me, yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't. I mean, the chicken isn't seasoned. The rice is so. The tea tastes like motor oil. It's for the folks who love it. Line up, man. At least we got y'all all in one damn place. At least we got y'all all in one place. So I'm like, okay, open the doors here. So all these old bastards will be over here. Leave me a little room at Texas Steakhouses. Okay, at least they're all over here. But yeah, as far as what's on the menu, I'm like, oh, no. Like the mashed potatoes, you put your damn spoon in the mashed potatoes. It's like ice cream. It just gets stuck. You can pick up the whole damn plate from just the mashed potatoes. What the hell? Take a look at that. Like the whole plate sticks to the mashed potatoes. I'm like, oh, what is this? What is this? You want me to eat this? It's like, who in the hell is this chef? Was he from the county lockup?
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Yeah, I mean, are the cooks in the back on the work release program? Did they used to run the kitchen in Angola? What is this, man? And boy, you just see them little old white folks up in there, and more power to you. Benny Johnson said that's a white people's restaurant. By the way, don't blame me. Benny Johnson said it's a white people's restaurant. So, hey, folks, by the way, don't blame us. Benny Johnson and Fox News and the white supremacist media, they said Cracker Barrel is a white people's restaurant. So for the rest of us, we're just repeating what they said. We're not even saying it. They're saying it. So don't get mad at us. Go over there. If you got beef with it, go over there to them. Go take up your issue with them. They said it's a white supremacist restaurant and it needs to uphold the tenets of white supremacy. So if you got a problem with it, go talk to them. But I am going to say here, by the way, that bland, seasonless food, I'm like, hey, maybe that works out better for some of y'all. And I'm like, okay, they got their pancakes that are kind of done and kind of weird looking. I'm like, all right. It's like if from the Dukes of Hazzard, Cooter at the Boar's Nest, it's like if he opened a restaurant, the Daycorn, so it's supposed to look like an old country store. I get that, but is the food supposed to look like an old country store too? Damn! Is the food supposed to be an old country store too? They're serving chicken, ain't got no salt on this. I'm like, okay, I mean, it's fried, barely fried, but who in the hell's got the recipe? Y'all need to sneak over here where the niggas at and get a real recipe. Cracker Barrel, by the way, the problem is not the sign. The damn problem is the food. Y'all need to sneak across the street and let some niggas change this recipe. If y'all want to see profits jump, y'all need to do what you've done from time immemorial. Show these white folk what some black folk can do back there. Profits through the roof. Damn Chipotle. Profits through the roof. You're going to have to make an add-on to the place. You're going to have to make an add-on to the place. You're going to have to. So, yeah, man, it's okay. If they think we're going to fight them over the Cracker Barrel, By the way, that's another stupid thing. You think we're going to get into a knockdown drag out with you over Cracker Barrel. Just because Benny Johnson drives his grandmama up there, you think we're going to have a knockdown drag out with you over the Cracker Barrel. Don't you see we let Shoney's go unders? Man, we ain't fighting you over that. Show me the black folk picketing outside the Cracker Barrel. Let us in. Let us in. I'll be the first one to drive by. Y'all niggas crazy. Nigga, please. I wish I would see a bunch of black folk talking about boycott Cracker Barrel. You picking outside Cracker Barrel. I'm like, man, y'all niggas, I'm going to be yelling from my damn truck. Y'all niggas nuts. Jason, political action protest. Damn, now y'all niggas crazy. Let them folks have. What are you fighting for? What in the hell are you fighting for? Indigestion? Damn. This is silliness. Okay, now we're out here marching and protesting for indigestion. We want to get indigestion right with the white folks. Man, if you don't sit up here and take your ass to Turkey Leg Hut, reopen that damn, get your ass down to Trill Burger. What in the hell is this? At the damn restaurant and got to drink some milk of magnesia after you leave? What is this? No, I'm not picking the damn thing. They can have it. They want to start segregation, they can start at the Cracker Barrel. It's just like, okay. They wouldn't let us in. Nigga, they're doing you a favor. What do you... I demand service. You want that service? So let me get this straight. All these black restaurants in town with some food that's actually fit for human consumption. And you like, no, I demand to have a table at the Cracker Barrels. I'm like, okay, when this nigga gets done with his plate, can y'all take him out back so he can pick some cotton?
And deal with it, nigga.
Yeah, when he gets done eating, take him out back so he can pick some cotton and some beans. Let's just make this a clean sweep. He'll be right at home. And don't y'all think they won't do it. There'll be a bunch of black folk and a bunch of light-skinned immigrants out back there. What? Oh, they'll be like, oh, we had such a fun time at the Cracker Barrel. It was slave play day, and they let us pick cotton. It was real educational. All right. It'll be that. Yeah, you know Candace Owens would be back there. This isn't racist about that there. It's just a reminder. It was a historical revisionism day, and we were out back. They let us pick some cotton. They let us pick some cotton, and they let us pick some watermelons. And all right. And we got a free gift certificate to come back. Yeah. Tell me that you eat the mashed potatoes at Cracker Barrel without telling me you eat the mashed potatoes at Cracker Barrel. Tell me that. Tell me that. No, man, the pancakes were like, yes, the pancakes were like cement. I mean, you can eat it, but once it goes down, oh, buddy, when it hits your stomach, that's a wrap. It's like a concrete mixer. You can feel it getting bigger and bloated and solidifying. It's like, oh, man. Am I going to have to go to the ER so they can cut this out? What are y'all putting in that mix? Yeah, y'all know that cement ready mix? It's like, okay, oh, you grabbed the wrong damn ready mix, Chico. Back there in the kitchen, you grabbed the wrong damn ready mix box. Yeah, the subcontractors out back, you grabbed the damn cement bags. What is this? It wasn't fantastic. I mean, it's not the worst pancakes you'll ever meet, but after it goes down, that's a wrap, nigga. You gonna be laid up for a couple days. That is it. There's nothing you can do. I'm talking about the stuff didn't digest. I know I'm saying too much. The stuff didn't digest. It's like 2 days later, I'm like, I don't want to eat nothing. That was my experience. My experience was I don't want to eat. It was literally 2 days later. It was not like the next day. It was literally 2 days later. And I'm just like, I'm not even hungry. I don't even want to eat nothing. It's just, I don't even want to eat anything. I'm not even hungry. The pancakes are still there. I'm not even hungry, man. You think I'm trying to go back? Tricky Nick said got a stomach full of white supremacy. Damn! He said a stomach full of white supremacy. Hell yeah, it's a good thing I went on the weekend because I'm like, oh, hell no. Well, actually, no, it wasn't the weekend. It's like Friday, but good grief. If I had a Monday through Friday job or something like that, oh, that's a wrap. Oh, I can't make it in Monday. I got Cracker Barrel hangover. I got Cracker Barrel belly. I can't get in today. I can't get in today. Can't make it. I don't think I can fit behind the wheel of my damn truck. He said a belly full of injustice. Damn. Yeah, y'all a Cracker Barrel. We supposed to fight the second Civil War over a Cracker Barrel? You out your damn mind. Did they think they're hurting our feelings? Nanny boo boo, you can't come to Cracker Barrel. It's like saying, nanny boo boo, you can't, we're not gonna let you get your ass beat at Disneyland. What? They think they stunting. You can have everything else. Cracker Barrel is ours. People, this is literally where we are today. They're literally telling you Negroes have made it far enough. We draw the line at Cracker Barrel. We make our stand here. You make your stand at Cracker Barrel? So do you think we gonna turn into Freedom Riders and have a sit-in for the crack like John Lewis? You think we're gonna integrate the lunch counters starting at the Cracker Barrel? You're gonna have to move on down the restaurant food chain before we start demonstrating. If the Cracker Barrel is what you think's gonna trigger us, no, you're gonna have to go a little bit further than that. We'll jump up and make a fuss over Taco Bell before we do Cracker Barrel. So, yeah. Yeah, folks, they think we're going to turn the Freedom Riders over Cracker Barrel. They wanted to let us know, hands off their Cracker Barrel. And the wonderful culinary delights therein. Looking like the damn restaurant from Night of a Thousand Corpses. What? I'm like, okay, man, look here. I want to know which one of you niggas is going to demonstrate when they made me uncomfortable at Cracker Barrel. You were in there? Jason, you said you was in there. That was a few years ago, though. And I'm not fighting to get back. They won't let you in Cracker Barrel. I'm not going to let Cracker Barrel in my wallet. I am self-segregating. Please. Matter of fact, I think they need to make that corporate policy. In our efforts to make black folk healthier, we are banning y'all from the Cracker Barrel. Folks, it can only go up from here. You never saw a healthy black person come walking out of the Cracker Barrel. You ain't seen it. You have never seen a healthy black person walk out of the Cracker Barrel or the Golden Corral. Everybody walks out there either 400 pounds or on a walker. What? Damn! Damn! Am I lying? Everybody you seen walk out of the Cracker Barrel or the Golden Corral, they either 400 pounds or they got a walker. God help you if you're behind them. When you walking out the door, if them little old bastards beat you to the door, oh, this about to be a minute and a half before you can get out. They got the walker with the tennis balls on it, and then they want to stop. They want to stop and talk to Gertrude over here and whatnot. It's like, oh, if I push this old heifer down. I mean, you ain't never seen it. I dare you to find me somebody in Cracker Barrel. It's like, they black folk walking out with Jason. She could wear a bikini. I'm like, okay, I dare you to find that one. I dare you to find that one. So you said, go out there to that parking lot tomorrow and get your National Geographic on. And you take some footage and some pictures of what comes out of that place. Ain't nothing moving quick. You never saw anything spry walking out of the Cracker Barrel or the Golden Corral. Everything gonna be slow and big. Slow, big, old, or all the above. It's just, they don't have enough handicapped parking spaces. What? Damn! They don't have enough handicapped parking spaces. Like, really, they need to have a whole row. I'm not talking about just in front of the row in front of the building and then the second row next to it. Just 2 whole rows for everything next to the building needs to just be all blue. Just blue signs, handicapped parking, just all surrounding the whole building. That's what they need to have. Y'all think it's, for those of you who never been, you think it's bad at Walmart when the old fat person gets on the cart, the motorized cart, you think it's bad there? You ain't been to Cracker Barrel. You ain't been to Golden Corral. Oh, man. You ain't been there yet. Oh, if you do, ain't nothing but a bunch of big folk and old folk driving minivans. Okay, so minivans and some Mercedes. I'm like, okay, you too big for that Mercedes. You need an SUV. It'll be the old black men. They'll be driving their 2011 Mercedes S-Class with the air shocks that have already gone down because he can't afford to get them fixed. What? But yeah, you think we're going to fight over that? I demand my right to indigestion at Cracker Barrel. Please. I will not be there with you. I will not be there with you. Rom Chill, you getting old, bro. You were there with a bunch of old niggas, so I get it. You were there with a bunch of old niggas. Because all you're going to do is talk. All you're going to do is talk. But if you went to Cracker Barrel last weekend, you was there with a bunch of old niggas from the church or whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But just don't expect me to take to the streets talking about boycotting and protesting. I boycott or protest for something of value. It's like, what did I lose with Cracker Barrel? Tell me, y'all, what did we lose with Cracker? Jason, we lost Cracker Barrel. We did? What did we lose? No. I need an itemized list. What did I lose with Cracker Barrel exactly? I need you to give me specifics on what exactly I lost with Cracker Barrel. Somebody's trying to convince me that we lost something. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, what did we lose exactly? Just for my edification. What did we not get? What are we missing out on? Somebody somewhere is upset. It ain't me. So I'm like, dude, y'all can keep y'all's little bland food over here. Do what y'all do. We're losing everything. You lost a sign on a restaurant. That's everything. Rom Chill said Golden Corral. Look here, man. If you don't push them little old fat bastards out the way, they will have your ass sitting in that in the damn threshold of the doorway for 30 minutes. They'll have you sitting there for 30 minutes. It's like, okay, once they hear for the doors, damn this, I'm going out the fire escape. I'm going out the damn fire door. I am not waiting for Grandma Moses and her 5 friends to go eking their way out through the door. Why can't y'all get a wider door? I'll help you. They need to install like a garage door. What? That would help us all if they would just install 2 garage doors. Damn this regular opening thing here. Just install 2 garage doors so that when it's time to get out, it's like, okay, at least we ain't held up that much. It's either that or put like a conveyor belt for the old people, because, you know, they don't walk when they don't need to, which is all the time. If you like get a conveyor belt for them, all of them will line up on the conveyor belt. They'll take them out to the sidewalk, and the rest of us can just walk. The rest of us can walk. I forget what airport that was, if it was Baltimore or O'Hare, or I forget which airport it was. Baltimore, O'Hare, or Atlanta. I forget which one it was. It's an airport that has like a conveyor belt for you to get on. So if you don't want to walk, so I'm sitting up here, folks. So my friends got on the damn conveyor belt. I'm walking like right beside them. I'm like, was this supposed to get you or you were going faster? Are you this damn lazy? I'm walking right beside them. They're on this conveyor belt with people, and I'm just, okay, was this supposed to be saving your... I'm walking as fast as they are. What are you doing? It's not going to get you to the end of this hallway faster. Okay, but it will help at Golden Corral. I damn sure guarantee you that. A conveyor belt for the little old folk, they'll line up. And so, okay, good. Now the rest of us can walk out. Helped us. The rest of us can now leave. Yeah, if Trump want to fight for something, yeah, get your racist ass over there and fight for Cracker Barrel. Fight for that. So we can just smoke out all the black folk who really ain't gonna make it with us. I want to see who gonna demand to get back to Cracker Barrel. I'm trying to see them. I want to see who it is who's going to be 10 toes down for Cracker Barrel and demand their right to eat. So I'm looking for you. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you stuck with us this long, you've been listening to the program here, check and see if you're subscribed. YouTube is unsubscribed, people. So go ahead and check on that. And if you have liked what you've heard on tonight's program, hopefully we've earned the right to get your subscription. So if you feel that we've earned that and you don't want to miss out on it, click the red subscribe button and click the yellow notification bell so you can join us each and every time that we're here. You don't want to miss out on this. On tomorrow night's program, I've got something else we're going to be going to in here as well, so you are not going to want to miss it. I mean, you could, but you're not going to want to. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to my man, Torrell Evans. Thank you very much for your support tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Black to Death. Paul E. has been giving out some memberships. The gift that keeps on giving. To Jughead. He's giving out some British pounds. Rolly. Neptune Beauty. Hadn't seen you in a minute there. She must have broke up with her dude, but thank you very much, sister. We appreciate that. And if you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future and the future is taking over.